We're just waiting on Jarett here. Is that Barbara? Barbara's in here? This is gonna be a good one. Jarett's good. We love Jarett. Excuse me. We're just waiting on Jarett, peeps. Yeah, Jarett's a unique one. You know, he's one of a kind. I met him on. Hey, Barb. Jarett's a good one. I met him on TikTok. He, like I said, he's very unique. He's different from most people that have been incarcerated. He's just your average, your average dude. He'll even say too, he's just your average American that's happy to have a roof over his head. A family, providing for his family. He works long hours. He's a blue collar worker. He'll give you his last dollar, even if he's suffering. If that may be if that was the case. And he's just, I don't know. Ever since I interviewed him, I'd say about 4 months ago, and this is his part 2, his little catch up, and he's actually had some positives, especially with work. His work has been a plus, and things have been going good for him, which is good because he spent 9.5 years in prison. He served 4 years in the military. Then some things happened, and then he went to prison for 9.5 years. And once he got out, his best friend, truly his best friend, passed away, unfortunately. That's like his family, and it's sad, when someone that close to you passes away, you lose part of yourself, and they grew up together. They went to the military together, all that. So it's just unfortunate. Yeah, Barbara, he'll tell you. Oh, he's here right now. He'll tell you. He can go into detail with it. He's one of my favorites.
Give me one.
My man, Jarett.
What's up?
Man, it's good to see your face, brother. How you doing?
Man, I don't deserve to be doing as good as I am, man. That's how I feel.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do, man. I'm telling you. Can you hear me pretty well?
Oh, did I lose you? What happened here?
Oh yeah, you're good. Your camera just went away. Take your time. You're all right.
All right, perfect.
It's good to see you, brother.
I'm so good, man. It's good to see you, man. You're literally one of my favorite people on planet Earth.
Man, much love to you, brother. Hey, we're bros for life, man. It's crazy, isn't it crazy what a connect like an app can do? You know what I mean? Like, connecting with someone, like especially you. Barbara's in here and she has some questions for you. I'm not too sure if you can see them on the bottom. But me and Jarett met over TikTok, and It was over this. I forgot whose post it was. Totally forget. And then
It
I
was
saw you.
it was that kid, South Carolina convict. He had made a post, and I just
Oh,
commented, and you liked the comment, and we're like, "Oh, hey man, let's link up sometime."
right,
Just
right.
like
That's
that,
right. Okay,
random, just comment on a random post,
right. And then,
and
it's
here
it's
we
crazy
are.
how that. Yeah, exactly. Wild. Um, Barbara, can you see that she said I was married to an army vet, Jarett? You earn my respect. She's in here right now. I'm not too sure if you
Appreciate
can
that,
see it.
Barbara. It's not coming up on my thing, but those people don't. A lot of times that gets overlooked. The women behind. I mean, I can't speak from the men behind women in the military's perspective because I don't. I can imagine how hard it is, but the women who are married to Army guys, especially active duty guys, in the last 20, 25 years, I couldn't imagine it. The stuff they have to sacrifice and deal with just to get their man to formation or get him, deployed and not have to worry about paying bills and making sure the kids are okay. They literally that's a task that's bigger than a lot of people's jobs that they have their whole life. And a lot of times people get overlooked or, oh, it's just part of it. It's not. You can be a shitty wife or a shitty husband and be selfish, or you could make the sacrifices so they can have a better life and deployment and career.
Right.
That's
That's
huge. That's
big.
a big deal because I mean, I'm covered in stupid tattoos. I early on I got them and they were like important and they mean something. But then once you cross a threshold of a certain number,
Right.
if you have 26 tattoos and you get one that's silly, it's not a big deal. But if you have
Right.
one and then you get one that's silly, it's you're like, what are you doing? So like my right leg is just like stuff I like. It's like Cubs. It's got my kid's mom's name. It's got a giant Chuck Taylor logo on my shin. But I have the name
Hell yeah.
Jody tattooed around my ankle because that was a part of my life for 4 years. I can tell you, I mean, even when I was in prison, Jody's talked about in prison. It's the same concept, that dude who's a scumbag just waiting in the wings to snatch your old lady up when she's, in a time of struggle. But the women who stand strong for that, I mean, I was raised by a single mom, so I wouldn't want to be a woman for anything in the world, man.
Right.
It's it's
And,
tough. Women
and
have the
Jared, I
hardest
didn't.
job on the planet, and
Right now, I was telling them, because there's gonna be viewers obviously that are gonna watch this afterwards. Um, but I told him, man, like you're the type of person that would give someone your last dollar, like, or your $10 or $100 if it was, you know what I mean. That's the type of person you are. Even if you were struggling, you would do that. You would give your hoodie or your
I
shirt
appreciate that.
off your
That's
back. Yeah, no, it's facts though. Like it's facts.
it,
Like in yeah,
it's funny that you say that. Last year when I first got home, and I still try to continue this, but I've struggled with it recently just because the world is. I'm so disappointed in the state of the entire world with the way they're acting to each other, regardless on any issue, just all issues. But when I first got home, I had this insane attitude of gratitude in the sense of I didn't feel like I deserved the things I had because of all the things I had done. And, when I was a junkie, I had times where I would, I've slept outside 3 or 4 times in my life, but um, I would have done it more often had people not said, hey, you can come crash, at my house and things like that. So when I come home from prison, I walk into my mom. My mom didn't want me to move out of her house. She was like, just stay here, save your money. So I had a nice home, a pool, there was a hot tub. My dad was promoting me with everybody he knew in the city who needed construction guys. He was pushing me on them because, a lot of these guys know I did good work, but they also knew sometimes he would be some shit if he was, dope sick or whatever. So when I got home and I was clean, I didn't really, then that's what when I relapsed and then robbed the banks, that's what was the problem, was I didn't know how to be clean. I didn't know how to be normal as far as the amount of time on my hands. When you're chasing dope, that's an all day thing. So
Right.
your time is just constantly moving. So when it goes back to you being a normal person, you have an extra 5 or 6 hours of the day you don't know what to do with, and then you get bored. I didn't know how to be bored. So when I got home this time, I recognized it. I saw it. I said, I'm not going to be bored in the sense of, because I know what boredom is. Boredom is being locked in a closet with another man for 6 months. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
boring. You
Right.
know, being able to go wherever you want, do whatever you want, or sit at your house if you want, that's not boring. That's just life. And so I used to give like all my extra money to random homeless people on the side of the street, right? I just, because the amount of homeless people in my city now versus 2010 when I left, it's exponentially greater. You see them
Mm.
all the time now, and it would tear my heart out, man, because I don't know their struggle. I don't know what led them to that point, but I know that I've done that. So I
Right.
remember I went to Weigel's one day. My mom had just bought me these 3 new hoodies. They were like fleece hoodies. Oh, I loved them. They were phenomenal. So I had one in the truck, and I walked into Weigel's, and there was this homeless lady. I couldn't, I never saw her face. She was asleep in the fetal position facing the building, right?
Right.
And she had on, it looked like one of those ski suits from the 80s, right? That, like that aqua blue color with the purple and pink stripe on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Like,
Right.
you've
Right.
seen them in the old movies.
Yeah. Pink, purple, all these different
So she
colors,
was
rainbow.
sleeping there now, and I've only wore this hoodie for a total of, I wore this hoodie for maybe 20 minutes that morning because it had warmed up a little bit during the day. And I got back in my car, and I don't want to say spiritual because I don't like that word because that gets twisted, but I believe in God 1000%. I don't walk in that life like I should, but that's my core values start from there. And some people think you're crazy if you say God talks to you or all that, but whether it's a feeling or God speaks to you or however you want to frame it, I got in my car. There was a voice in my head that said, if you do not get out and go give that hoodie to that woman, you're going to regret it. So I said, I'm like, oh, man, this is like a $65 hoodie. I just got it. I can't afford it. My mom gave it to me, so I can't. Oh, fine. Okay, it's fine. Oh, yeah, I got you. So I just get out. I fold the hoodie up real nice. Like I used to work in a clothing store, so I know how to do all the folds that people hate doing. And I fold it up just like that, nice and smooth. I just walk over behind her, sit it down behind her. I didn't wake her up or bother anything. I just set it down and walked off, because I don't need that. Really, if you look at it, like I didn't need that hoodie. I had two more hoodies, but
Right.
when it's getting cold, if you have nothing but what you can carry, a hoodie is a big deal.
Right. Right.
And I'm not
Absolutely.
like trying to preach or, make myself sound good or anything. It's just like, even when I was a scumbag, like I was never morally corrupt. I was just doing what I had to do to get drugs. Like I had a,
You're good. Don't worry about it. My man Jay's got some pizza. Everyone gets a slice. Whoever's in here right now, Barbara, it's just you. Barbara, you get a slice of some pizza from Jay.
yeah, sorry, my girl just got in the car to go get the pizza, and the Bluetooth picked it up. It always does that from close.
You're good. What kind of
Yeah,
pizza? Do you
so
guys have mean Eds out there or no?
no, I've never heard of that. I love
Oh
any kind of
wow.
pizza, man. I'm a pizza junkie, a fanatic for this shit. I love
I
it.
love pizza.
Bro, when I was in the halfway house, the first week I was in the halfway house, right? You could have food delivered because I got there in August of 19. So, the world hadn't lost its mind at that point. 5 days straight, I ordered pizza every evening for dinner. Like, I mean, and I could see the weight. I came home at 182 pounds, and I could literally see the fat just going onto my stomach. And I could care less, man. My girl loved me. She still thought I was cute naked. I didn't care. I was like, pizza. It was, I didn't
That's
care.
funny.
I'm 240 pounds now, man. I think I'm actually down to about 230, but it's like, oh, pizza is if there's only two or three things in the world I would pick over pizza.
Right. Now
If it
you've
was
been
like
even
this or that, pizza wins every time.
right, absolutely. I don't know what it is. Even for me, even too, like when it's cold. Like I can eat it when it's cold, especially. You
Oh,
know,
bro, I'm saying
it
I
just
like.
hits. You know.
There's no. Oh, it slaps. There's no refrigerators in prison, so everything you have, either you like wrap it up in a bag and put it in ice in a clean trash can that's like a refrigerator trash can type.
Right.
But everything else, bro, you just put it in a Tupperware bowl, put a lid on it, and you put it in your locker. Like the life, the shelf life of cooked food or raw food, I know all of it now. You know what I mean? You can keep
Right.
eggs out of the fridge for 8 days and be fine. You can keep if pizza stays on the counter overnight. Trust and believe I'm going to eat it in the morning, straight out the box, sitting on the stove. I don't care. I'm not getting sick, bro. I'm a savage. I play in the dirt all day, dirt and mud all day. I'm a savage.
Right.
I don't
Hey
care.
Jay,
We don't
how
throw
is the
pizza
work?
away at my house.
Right, right. No wasting food, man. Since we talked, because it's been like four
Brother, I
months.
can't see it. I can't even explain to you my life right now, man. Since we talked, when I talked to you, I couldn't believe my life, the trajectory of my life. But since we've talked, it's unbelievable, man. So just a quick backstory. I came home, I started doing construction again, just like a 1-2 man operation. Whatever I could find to do, I did. Now, my youngest daughter, Kelsey, her mom's name is Bridget. Okay, Bridget remarried this guy named John when I went to prison. About 3 years after I was gone, they got together and they've been married for several years now. Kelsey knows him as her dad, and this is kind of fucked up, but Bridget and John, they kind of, whatever. They have their disputes like couples do,
Right.
and she kind of framed it as John hates you, John doesn't want to talk to you, all this stuff. So if that's all I heard, that's all I knew. So when I came
Right.
home and I actually met John, I was like, well, either he's, either he's running a big long game on me here, or what she told me is not true. This
Right.
guy, this is a good man, right? This is, and everybody has their faults. I have my faults. He has his faults. She has hers. Everyone has faults, and I try to support Bridget if they have a thing and she's or whatever, but um, that's her husband. You know what I'm saying? I'm out. That's not. I have no responsibility to her in the sense of her life and her choices with who she wants to be with. And if she married that man, I'm a firm believer in a husband and a wife's thing is their thing. Who am I? I'm the kid's dad. That's if you on paper, I'm Kelsey's father. I'm not her dad. John's her dad. I'm her father.
Right.
So John raised her since she was almost from the time she was about 3 to currently. She'll be 13 in this year.
Mhm.
So I met him. We talked a few times, and I told Bridget, I said, "Hey, I know that you're not going to like this when I tell you this, but I really like John. I think he's a good man. I'm very, very rarely am I wrong about how people really are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's a former combat Marine. Like this dude's body, so the breaks and the beatings on his body make mine look very insignificant, and my body hurts. And this dude
Mhm.
gets out there and grinds every day. So fast forward to the second half of last year, he's like, "Hey man, I know you're doing a construction thing. If you ever have any days where you're not doing anything, why don't you come, work for me? I need guys, right? I need laborers, just to dig with a shovel. We do irrigation, so you dig these little trenches. It's not hard. It can be hard, but it's physical labor.
Right.
So I would start doing that for him. I would start, and then the first day I went out there, we worked for 5 hours. Give me $200. Hey man, here you go, $200. No experience, no skill set. I know how to run a shovel better than most, but that's still a ridiculous amount of money to pay someone for digging with the shovel. So
Right.
he would tell me about these jobs he had coming up, and he would just be like, "Hey man, if you can work." So I just started scheduling my other work schedule around his days because mine was sporadic. He was in business with his half brother, and last fall he had to get a foot transplant, which means they took like 4 bones out of a dead guy's foot and put it in his foot. His ankle was completely destroyed. He walked around on it for almost a year with 14 breaks in his right foot. He didn't
Damn.
complain. He didn't bitch. He didn't moan. I mean, this dude is a savage in the sense of if something has to be done, I'm going to do it. You know, if your foot's broken to pieces, it doesn't matter because I have my family to take care of, my brother's family, to help him be able to take care of things like that. So I didn't, the whole time so when we would go out, John would do like the sales, and then I would work for his brother, Daniel. And so I would be like Daniel's helper. John was like, please teach Jarett all the things, right? But Daniel didn't ever teach me those things because he was kind of an ADHD kid. He just wanted to do it, which I get. So now fast forward to about 2.5 months ago, John and Daniel are neighbors. They live next door to each other in the same subdivision. So
Right.
one Sunday, John is going to get a new work truck for Daniel, for the company, but for Daniel to have. And Daniel's wife, who's also a former Army veteran, she kind of flips out sometimes, right? Now I don't know how it started. I don't have the details. I didn't take sides in it. Once again, not my thing. But she flipped out, and John was like, hey, I can't have this anymore, so we're done. Right? That was on a Sunday. So he calls me Sunday night. He says, hey man, I know you've been helping me quite a bit lately. Do you want to be my partner now? Because as one man, he can't do it by himself, especially with the way, because obviously anybody who will walk on their foot when it's broke 14 times, they're not going to rehab and stay off their feet as long as they're supposed to. They're going to go back to work early. They're going to. So I was like, well, what do you mean? And he was like, it's me and you now. You're Daniel. You're Daniel. I'm John. Daniel's out. You're Daniel. You want to do that? And I'm like, well, honestly, brother, I don't deserve that because I don't have the skill set Daniel has. I gladly work for you and continue to do it like that because you pay me $200 a day. And he's like, no, fuck that. I'm going to ask a lot more of you. I'm going to expect a lot more of you, and I'm going to pay you a lot more than what I paid you. I was like, okay, sure, man, I'll try it. So now I go into it full-time irrigation guy, but a lot of the things Daniel didn't teach me, I'm having to learn on the fly. And now with him being gone, it's thrown the whole calendar into chaos. It's thrown the appointments into chaos. Everything's chaotic. So I go to work with him. We're working 80 to 100-hour weeks, right? I've never once complained. I don't bitch. We worked in a monsoon lightning storm on Wednesday. I never, not one time, said one word about it because I've had days, and I'm not bragging, talking shit. I'm just telling you what's going on in my life.
Right.
I've had days where he has said, hey, man, just so you know, you made $975 today.
That is insane.
That reaction you just had is how I feel every day when I go to work, brother. And now let's slow it down. Let's look at it. We can go to work on Monday running service calls and startups. He'd be like, "Oh, hey, put down in your book that you made $600 today." Okay, okay, cool. I'll put that down. We'll go to work Tuesday. We might do an install. He'd be like, "Hey, put down in your book you made $700 today." Like, okay, cool. We'll go to work Wednesday. Run 12 or 14 service calls, and we might work 15 hours that day. And we'll get home, and he'll say, "Hey, man, good job today. You made $850 today." I mean, it's fucking, we're printing money, man. You know what I'm
So,
saying?
so
Now,
Jay, did that happen? Like after like a couple weeks or a month after we had our discussion or conversation, our interview.
that happened about 6 weeks after you and I. It's about 6 weeks after you and I had our interview.
Okay. Damn.
So now, like I said, so when you and I talked, I was doing great. Life was great. And then that happened. And I spent, like I told you, like I spent 9.5 years thinking all the time. That's all I did when I was in prison. I was thinking about life, how I messed up, how I could do it better, things like that. that thinking mindset of looking at the bigger picture, grand scheme, you don't turn that off after 9 years. You know what I mean? So that's how kind of how my life operates now. So when he presented me that opportunity, I sent him a text that night. It was like this long. You know me. I'll talk, as you can see. I sent him a text like, "Hey man, just know that I'm not ever going to bitch, moan, or complain about working 100-hour weeks. Just know that I'm not going to bitch, moan, or complain about getting to work at 8 and getting home at 11 p.m. I'm not going to do that. I am going to make mistakes and I am going to fuck up stuff that I shouldn't, but I
Right.
am going to. But no, I'm going to do everything in my power to learn from those mistakes and try not to make them repeatedly. I said, bear with me because my brain is addled, bro. We go to 12, 14 houses a day. He remembers all the customers' names. He remembers where they live. He remembers everything. And then 2 days later, well, he'll be like, "Hey, we have to run by such and such house." And I'm like, "Who? What? Where?" And he's like, "Come on, man. We were just there." And I'm like, "Bro, we've been to 36 houses in the last 3 days. You've known them for years. I've known them
Right.
for 3 days. Just give me, So, like I said, who am I to complain? A man who has raised my daughter for 10 years, given her everything she could have ever wanted, kept her safe, and put his life and body on the line for her well-being, and now has brought me into the fold as a business partner and said, not only am I going to go from paying you more money than you should have been paid, but I'm going to pay you 5, 6 times that amount on everything we do from now on. So I don't complain, I don't bitch, and I bust my ass every day, and I try to be as quiet as possible when it comes to anything negative. A lot I mess stuff up, and clients or customers call him and bitch him out. So naturally, shit runs downhill, and I understand that because I've lived with that for years. So I just say, "Okay, you're right. My bad, chief. I apologize if the customer's upset, and I was the one who was there doing it. I'm in the wrong, even if I wasn't in the wrong, because." One thing I've learned, when you deal with rich and wealthy people, they want things when they want them right then, right now, how they want you to know how they want it without ever telling you. And he has figured out how to do that. I don't know that yet. So,
Right.
I mess up and I make silly mistakes sometimes, and he gets on my ass, and all I say is, "You're right, chief, and I'm sorry. I'll try not to do it again." And in all fairness and honesty, he doesn't give me a hard time. He doesn't. I've worked for guys talk to me and talk to other people, and it wasn't okay. You don't. You can teach somebody something or make something a learning lesson and reprimand them, or you can degrade them, demean them, speak down to them. He doesn't do that, and I respect him so much for that. That I literally give everything I have for this job because and look at the implications of it. I get out there, I fuck shit up, I start wilding, doing all that. Well, he can't run his business anymore. Well, if he can't run
Mm.
his business anymore, our daughter, mine and his, because that's how we refer to Kelsey, is our daughter, which is
Right.
weird, like we're two gay dads or whatever. But I'm like, our daughter did this. Um, get out there and do that. Then our daughter now doesn't have a dad who can provide for her anymore. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And so it's turned into like this big picture thing where I have a purpose again, in the sense of, I don't see my daughter as much as I want to see her because, like I said, we're working so much. And then when, like, this weekend is my first weekend off in 3 months, full weekend, right? So, I wanted to go pick her up this morning, but I slept almost 1 o'clock because I was dead. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. I may go pick her up tomorrow afternoon and, go eat like an early dinner with her. But it's just turned into this big thing. And I'll come in. This is my girlfriend cracks up when I do this. I come in at 10 o'clock at night and it's been raining and I'm fucking covered in mud, and I'm smiling and I'm happy,
Right.
because I go to his house in the morning. He has this like 20 by 20 shed. It's pretty awesome. It looks like a miniature irrigation store in there because he buys all the shit. So we have it. And so I go over there in the morning. We hop in the work truck. We go run our jobs, and then we meet. We go back to his house. I hop in my van and come home, and it's literally been a 14, 15-hour day, and I come home smiling because when I get in my van at night on the way home, I listen to Joe Rogan or some metal or some hip hop or whatever I'm listening to, and I just get charged back up. So by the time I come home, I'm like, man, I can't believe I made $750 today. I can't believe somebody took a chance on me and said, hey man, if you want to give it a shot, um, I'll help you succeed. That man doesn't owe me shit, man. The only thing that ties me to him is I used to date his wife and we have a child together.
Right.
And, I mean, on paper, he shouldn't have shit to do with me, but he wants me to succeed because he wants his daughter's dad to succeed. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So it's like this grand scheme, big picture thing. And if I come home smiling at 10 p.m., my girl's about to go to bed, and I'm literally only going to see her for 20 minutes that day. The entire day, I'm going to see my girlfriend for 20 minutes.
Mm.
And I'm so happy because of somebody said, hey, man, I believe in you enough to give you this shot. And I'm going to put the ball in your court to where your success is on your hard work. You can work as hard as you want, or you can be a douche as much as you want. But what you get out of life is what you put into it, you know?
Right.
And so, because when you work for somebody as an employee, as an hour, like even at $200 a day, you don't soak up a lot of stuff because you're just like, oh, I'm here to be the shovel man, right?
Right.
So, and that kind of was a problem when I first started because he was like, well, you've been to this house, you should remember. And I'm like, dude, I didn't retain any of this shit because I was here just to dig some holes, you know? And, but now it's like, hey, Jared, this is your thing. What are you going to do with it?
Right.
And I'm going to do, I'm going to do any and every single thing I can to make it the best I possibly can. You know what I mean? I saw this great TikTok earlier with Elon Musk. He was talking to this lady, and I could talk for an hour about how awesome that guy is. But he said, you know what the biggest difference between somebody who's successful and busts their ass and works 100-hour a week versus a guy who works a 40-hour week? And she was like, well, what's the difference? He said, that guy who works 100-hour weeks will do in 4 months what the other guy can do in 1 year. He said, even if they're the same, exact same skill level, exact same skill set, exact same knowledge, the guy who's willing to work 100 hours a week will go so much further than the other guy because he's just willing to make the sacrifice. Now, I don't want to work like that. You know, I don't want to work 100-hour weeks every week of the year. I don't. And we're not going to. You know, when we started in the spring, the way irrigation works is when it starts getting around 70-ish and quits freezing and shit like that, once you turn everybody's shit on, pretty much through the summer, you're going to calls of people saying, hey, this is broken, or people are selling new installs. So it'll
Mm.
slow down tremendously in the summertime, which is fine. But when it's time to go get it, we go get it because it's there to
Right.
get, you know. And he
Right.
respects me for it. He respects the fact that I'm willing to work in a monsoon and not complain, because I also see the fact of he's sitting in the mud right next to me doing the same thing. How can I bitch if he's not saying nothing? You know, that what do I look like? Andy's a Marine, so he's fucking hard headed as shit, and he don't listen to
Right.
nothing. So I can't say shit either because then it goes to the whole Army Marine thing, and I'm not gonna let
Right.
them beat me at nothing. You know what I'm saying? Fuck
Right.
that. We're not doing that shit. This old bastard's been shot. He's been blown up. His fucking foot's falling off, and he's not complaining. Now, I've never been shot. I have never been blown up, but I had a gnarly motorcycle crash. But he was also in an auto accident that he was in a medically induced coma for freaking like 38 days. You know what I mean? So
Damn.
I can't complain. I
Right.
can't, because if you really look at it on paper, I don't deserve to be his partner. I don't. Now, granted, I will be by this time next year. He will be able to say, you know, you're there. But right now, I recognize the fact that he took a leap of faith on me, hoping I would respond, and I have, and hopefully I will continue to. That's my plan, anyways.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Jay. I want you as my employee, bro. Like it's crazy because do you think, like, I know you've always had a strong work ethic, even before, the army and stuff like that, military. Um, do you think prison kind of like made you like cherish life a little bit more and take more responsibility and want to work and want to be the best at what you put yourself into, like, working for the deal you're doing right now? Like, is do you kind of hard to do you cherish
One
where you're at right now a little bit more than anything, basically?
1,000,000%. I'm
Yeah.
operating from a base of gratitude, 1,000,000%, because I know, and it's funny you say this. I made a talk earlier about this too. Um, I had a celly for his name was Glenn Weiniger. He's in Michigan now. He's making $32 an hour, highly in
Mhm.
demand. He gets calls from headhunters once a week. He's a welder, and he he's crushing life, right? But he had been pretty much locked up his entire life. And when I moved in with him, he was just this dumb kid from Michigan who was like, he's a white kid, but he grew up kind of like in the hood a little bit. And he's like, a little rap kid. That's a bigger
Right.
topic there. But as far as how that can change your mentality, but he was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I was like, hey, 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 slow down. I told him, I said, hey, man, you're on time. He did tattoos in prison. He did a bunch of my tattoos. I mean, so he was running his own. If you look at it, I mean, without all the other shit, he was running his own small business in prison. That if
Right.
he got caught doing, had big consequences. Right? You'll get in trouble. You'll go to the shoe. You'll lose everything. They'll send you to the other side of the fucking world. Um, but he kept a tight appointment calendar. He was obsessive when it came to cleanliness. He was obsessive when it came to quality of work. I mean, this guy, he was a prime candidate for a perfect employee. And I told him, and I sat down and broke it down to him just like that. I said, hey man, these are the things you're doing. This, and 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 this. And I just kept going with it, right? I said, you're doing that inside of a prison, man. What do
Yeah.
you think you can do when you get out there in the free world and actually shine? Because he learned how to weld in state prison before the feds picked his case up. And once I told him that, and explain to him, hey man, you've got it. But you also have to remember, and I said these words today earlier, when times get hard and times get tough and the darkness comes and it's knocking on your heart and telling you you're not good enough or you don't matter and all this, the mental health issues, like when shit goes bad, you start working off the checklist. Well, it's for my family, it's for my children, it's for my brothers, it's my sister. But when you get down here to the bottom of the list, right? This is the bottom. I told him, I said, you have to go out there and succeed for these old heads in here who took the time to break the whole thing down for you and explain to you why you don't have to go stab that guy over something that doesn't fucking matter and you don't ever get to go home. But they don't get to go home because they did it. Now they're in prison and they will never get to come home because they made a dumb mistake in here and they have 50 years to do. I said, you don't. You go home, and if you go through, if you convince yourself of, well, my family will be okay because my mom has a good job. My wife will be okay because she has a good job and she can take care of it. If you can get through all that and you get down to the last on the list before you start using or before you start being a shithead again, you have to go out there and succeed for the guys who gave you the ability to succeed in here.
Right.
The guys who said, I made the mistakes you're trying to make and you don't have to, so you can go home to your family. So when it comes all the way through it, and if you can't recognize the fact that you wasted in my case, I left when I was 25, I came home at the age of 35. I literally wasted the prime of my life. 25 to 35 as a male is your physical prime of your life. Now, a lot of guys,
Right.
when they turn 40, they really start taking off with business and things like that because that's the mental, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
physically, I wasted my entire prime of my life. When I went in, my body was great. When I came out, my body was broken to pieces, and then I come out as a violent ex-con. Me and you talking, you would never know that I walked into a bank with a pistol and pointed at a lady and
Right.
said, give me all the money. But I
Right.
did that. And on paper, if you want to hire me, you'll see that. But that's not who I am. That's who I was. So I operate under that whole system of I'm here and there's guys that deserve to be here and they're not ever going to get to be here. You know, one of my best friends in the world, he still has 17 calendar years left to do. If he doesn't lose a good day in the next 17 years, he has 17 years left to go. And when I tell you, this guy was an executive chef for PF Chang's. He was the train when a PF Chang's opened anywhere in America, they would fly him in there to train the chefs on how to cook the menu. This guy, literally the same exact case I was in. Good kid, hard working, bust his ass every day, got into drugs. His body liked him a little too much. He didn't know how to get out of it. He started robbing a couple different things. But he used guns more than once. I used guns one time. That's the only difference between me and him. 22, 23 calendar years is the only difference between him using a gun one more time than I did. And he's
Damn.
still sitting there today, and he's still wasting away in prison. And that's
Mm.
why I'm trying to succeed as much as I am now, because he doesn't get to come home and have a family. When he gets out, he'll be in his 60s. He's not going to have a
Damn.
baby. I'm 36. I couldn't imagine having a baby at 36. He's going to be in his 60s. And now let's go bigger picture. Not only that, do I have to succeed because of all that time wasted? I'm playing catch up. I have to make it for all those guys that I was in the army with who got their legs blown off, who got their testicles blown off by an IED and can't have children now. So now what do I look like out here being a shithead deadbeat dad, you know? Or
Right.
even worse, and this goes into what we wanted to talk about, these 22 and 23-year-old army guys who are fighting in countries that they couldn't find on a globe because some government who gives two fucks about them tells them to go over there and fight them. And they're like, hell yeah, buddy, I'm from Tennessee and fuck America first. Yeah, hell yeah. And they go over there and they get shot in the fucking head by some asshole who's not in the wrong, by the way, because if a foreign country invaded America and said, this is what we're doing, I'd be the first one out there shooting back at them too. But
Right.
these kids have signed up because that's what you're supposed to do, because it's a big picture thing. And they go over at 19, 20 years old and get blown up. And now they're gone. They're off the fucking board. So I guess it's a position of gratitude, but it's also a position I operate out of responsibility to other people. Everything I do, obviously, I want to be successful for myself and all that, but every single day, I think about the men and women who either A, didn't come home from the sandbox, or B, came home and they're either physically missing something that they left with, or even worse, I'd rather lose a leg than come home with the mental illness problems that a lot of these soldiers have, because that's a lot harder to treat. It's a lot easier to fix a leg that's missing and put a new one on and learn how to deal with it than it is to try to go to sleep and all you can see is your best friend getting blown up. So I operate in the sense of I owe people I've never met and will never meet. I owe my battle buddies that I do know who went through that. I owe my dead best friend who died at 37 last year to make it, because we were shitheads for so long. And when he finally started making it, his fucking heart quit on him. And then I owe these old heads who were terrible people in the free world, and they probably were when they went to prison. They probably were shitty human beings. But when I met them 15 years into a prison sentence, just like me, in the sense of I wasn't the same person that when I came home I was when I went there, but they're still having to deal with the consequences of their choices.
Right.
So every single day, I think about those 5 different groups of people, and I literally act on based out of responsibility to them. If no other reason besides my family, besides my children, besides my girlfriend who loves me, who wants to spend the rest of her life with me. If those 3 things, which is enough for most people to keep you from being a douche, I have those 5 other groups of people that I have to do it for. And I think about them every day, and every fucking day, at some point during the day, I cry for maybe 30 seconds or longer, because it's not fair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Much love, Jay. I got you, brother. It ain't easy. You're
I don't
good.
mean that
You're
like,
good.
I mean, you know, my story is my story, and everybody has their own idea what fair is. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Right.
I know what the dark side of the world looks like because I lived in it for a long time. So my definition of fair is not the same as a 19-year-old college kid who's never really felt true adversity, who thinks a lot of
Right.
the petty shit they're fighting about, and this is literally just using topics that are up right now, either race or transgender or woke ideology. That seems like a big deal to them because on paper it feels like a big deal, but it's not a
Right.
big deal to me because I've had people try to shoot rockets at me. I've had people want to kill me in a prison fight. I've stole from people I love. Like fair, so it's all relative. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
don't I don't dislike a young person for being an ideologue and having progressive ideas because I've recognized where they're coming from. It took me a long time to figure it out, but everybody's definition of fair is completely different. It's all relative. So, and also at the same time, the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. So it's
Right.
the worst thing. The worst thing that ever
Right.
happened to me was being drug addicted, robbing banks with a gun, crashing a motorcycle, almost dying, going to prison for 10 years. If the worst thing that's ever happened to you is somebody bullies you because you're overweight, it doesn't make your struggle any less valid in comparison to my struggle.
Right.
So
Right.
I feel the I feel the weight of all the things I've done versus where I'm at now, so I can appreciate where I'm at now more, but I operate out of a sense of responsibility to those who didn't have a chance to recover and rebound like I have.
Right.
That's so I mean that was a really long answer to your question, but
No, I love it, man.
like that's just how I
Jay,
feel on
don't.
the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, let Jay let that shit out, bro. I love to have you on here and spill it out there, bro. And you get emotional, and that there's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with it. It's true. It
No,
is
I know.
real.
I
You get
just
your feeling.
and that's how I try to operate, man. Shitty things happen to good people every day, and it makes me furious. And I don't, somebody who gets murdered is by a shithead is a terrible thing. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We've been
You're good. No, you're good. Don't
smoking
worry about
cigarettes.
it.
I'm trying to quit them. Um, but the other day I saw this lady on TikTok. I started following her. She's a big girl. Like she's not just like a chubby girl. She's a big girl. But she went to the gym and she's already lost 45 pounds through her diet. And then she goes to the
Damn.
gym and some assholes in the gym are staring at her because she's a big girl and it makes her feel uncomfortable. And that's not okay. That's not fucking cool. So I get everybody's struggle is their struggle. So if you have shitty people, regardless of how shitty or how simple your struggle is, it's still a struggle, man.
Right.
And if you can and find the positives in your life and move through it or move past it, you shouldn't have people what's the word? You shouldn't have people minimize your success or your growth because it doesn't compare to the guy who like that guy on 128 hours who was hiking and he had his arm got pinned and he cut his arm off with a pocket knife. Like, yeah, it's not the same, but it's also not different either. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right, Jay. I'm glad you're using those type of like analogies to, clarify, different reasonings and stuff, and that's another outlook and perspective on things, and people need to understand that everyone's different, everyone has different struggles, and everyone deals with hardships differently, you know what I mean? And whether it be, you got an F in your class or, compared to someone, your buddy getting, killed or something like that. I don't know. But Jay, I wanted to
No,
talk
you're
about as
right. You're
well.
right. You're exactly right.
Right.
Oh,
Jay, I wanted to talk about that dude that followed you, man, on TikTok.
oh my God, dude.
How was that
Listen, I'm gonna
when
start
you
fucking
saw
crying.
that notification? When you saw that notification, what were your feelings?
bro, I made like 17 videos in the basement, right? Because I couldn't get the time. I couldn't get to under the 1 minute mark. I couldn't get under it. And I suck at editing. I don't know how to do it. So I'm like, I'm trying to take this image, right? And TikTok wants to show it for 3 seconds. And then I'm trying to shut my fat mouth and stop at 56 seconds so I can fit it in. Okay. Thank you so much for bringing it up, man. And this is somewhere in the show right now. It says where heroes live on forever. It's the Valhalla Project. This is in my opinion, and I'm literally no shade, and I'm not talking shit about any veterans organization out there. There's so many. I don't know very many of them. They're all important. Every single one of them is important because, oh my God, I'm about to get cranked up, man. I can feel it coming. So this project, I found these guys like 2 weeks after I came home from prison, right? I was just Googling, scrolling through, doing that shit. And I come across this website and it's like 22 a day. And I'm like, well, I know what that means. I got it tattooed on my forearm right here. On my inner thing. This is like my Army half sleeve, right? It's not
Oh
done, but
hell
it's like
yeah,
the
that's
American
badass.
flag, combat patch, Army logo. And then right here it says 22 because
Right.
there's 22 veterans a day killing themselves. And that's not okay.
Mm.
That's not okay at all in my book. And this guy in Kentucky decided, I think one of his friends actually killed himself and he was trying to figure out, he didn't know what to do. Like he wanted to do something, but he didn't know what. So he's a woodworker. He's a young guy. I think it's Corey Schaefer, I think's his name. And so he started Till Valhalla Project. And what they do is they make memorial plaques for guys who are killed, veterans who are killed or take themselves off the board. And he gives it, they make them and they send them to either a family member or a friend, and you deliver them to their parents or their loved ones or whoever it is, right? So I bought the T-shirt. I don't know where it's at right now, but it's just a black T-shirt. It has their logo. Let me grab their logo. It's sick, bro.
Go for it, yeah. Hell yeah.
So this is their logo right here. It's Till Valhalla Project. It's just a soldier
Oh, that's
saluting
cool.
a cemetery with a flag in the back, right? I got these on every car. I got these on 4 different cars right now. So I look into it and I'm like, oh, these guys are phenomenal. I buy their T-shirts. I buy their little rubber silicone bands. Oh fuck me! I got a dozen of them. I don't know where they are, but so like I don't know. Like I told you on the last time, like a lot of times people when they fall back into struggling and doing the wrong thing, it's because they don't have a sense of purpose. If you don't have a sense of purpose in life, it's hard to get anything done. Whether it's taking all the plastic out of the ocean or doing what you do with your podcast, trying to help and save one person's life or make their life easier by not making the same mistakes others have made, or it's simply as what to do with your extra time. So over the winter last year, I just over from 19 to 20, I'm just buying their T-shirts sporadically. My mom gets into it. She thinks it's cool. She's got a couple T-shirts or whatever. So then Kidwell dies in February. And
Mm.
I mean, like I told you, like it destroyed my world. It still does. I still cry about it 4 or 5 times a week, and it hasn't got any better. It doesn't change.
You're good. I got you.
Sometimes in life, like my granddad died at home when I was like 14, and he was my life, and that hurt. But that's just a natural part of life when old people die. I couldn't
Right.
recognize it then, but over the years, you make amends with it, and you figure out how life works. Or like I had 4 kids. We went to one kid's funeral every year when I was in high school. One killed himself, and 3 of them were killed in like auto accidents, right? And that hurts because you know them, but when you have a bond, when you have someone in your life who's like a point one of a 0.1%, who are just like you're a person, right? And it sounds weird because we're just friends who met in AIT, but when somebody knows every single thing about you, the bad, the good, all the just the shit, right? And we knew everything about each other. We did drugs together. We did nefarious shit together. We were in the army together. We did all the things together, right? And never not one time did he judge me. I remember one time we were at this club, and he got drunk, and some kid bumped into him, and they started talking shit. He said something that he shouldn't have said, and it turned into a thing. And it was just me and him there that night, but we ran into another army buddy, this dude named Wally Holt. Um, he was in our army unit. He ended up getting blown up years later. He's happily married now, and he's good to go. But Wally was funny because he worked out 6 days a week. He was like, I do arms 3 days a week. I do chest 3 days a week. He said, I ain't doing no fucking legs. Girls can't see your legs until you're naked, and by then it's too late. Fuck that. This is what I do. He's like t-shirt muscles only, right? This kid, now
Right.
Wally and Kidwell, both of them, they hit like a ton of bricks. You know how this is like the new white power symbol people say, like the OK
Right.
symbol upside down. Well, in the
Right.
army, if you put this symbol up in the army below your waist, like if you're talking and I do like this, I'm like, oh Sid, you turn and you see that?
Yeah,
I'm
you
punching
catch
you in
it.
your arm. That's what we
Right.
do.
Right. That's how it is. That's how it is
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can take one step towards it, but you have to look at my eyes and try to poke it. And if you poke it, you get to punch me. If not, I get to punch you. It's
Right.
stupid kids doing stupid shit. But anyways, so that's how I know Wally and Kidwell both hit like a ton of bricks. So there's literally, I'm not kidding you, I counted them because this was going to be bad. There's 10 kids, 10 black kids,
Right.
and we're probably all in our early 20s. So we're all Thundercats, right? And these kids are going to fucking kill us. I know they're going to kill us. And they're not wrong for killing us. My partner was in the wrong. He messed up. But at the same
Right.
time, that's the difference in a best friend. A best friend will say, hey, you're about to get us killed, but I'm going to die with you on this hill right now doing it, you know? And so while the way this bar works, there's a dance floor in the middle and everybody just kind of walks in circles around it. So the flow, there's like a flow. It's like literally like a sea of humanity. The flow comes back around, and here comes Wally. Hey, what's going on? We tell him, fuck it, I'm in now. So instead of back to back, we're like a triangle now, right? Wally, Kidwell, and me on the bottom. We're covered. So then these two Marines that are in town for their buddy's funeral, they're at the club in full dress blue Marine uniforms, which is kind of weird, but I know what they were trying to do. I get it. Trying to get some tail. I'm not mad at it.
Are they
They
supposed?
come
They're
back
not
around.
supposed to do that, right? Go dress up in full
You
uniform at a
can do
like a.
you can do that. If it got to certain people in their chain of command, they probably wouldn't have appreciated it. But if you're trying to pull
Right.
some tail, and do you, big guy? The Marines have the best dress uniforms. We'll concede that. So then they come around, and now it's 5 versus 10, and these kids realize this is not worth our time. But
Right.
oh fuck, I don't even know how we started. I just lost. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
No, you kid
Oh, to
will.
Valhalla Project. Okay, I got you. I got you.
Right.
Yeah. So that's just the type of blonde kid one I had. That was 15 years ago. So he died suddenly in February 7th of 2020. Congenital con, congenital heart disease is what
Mm.
he died from. That's a disease that kills people in their 70s. He was 37 years old. He caught, this is what's crazy, bro. I think about this all the time. He caught congenital heart disease from a flu virus that he contracted in 2018. It was just one of those
Damn.
freak things. I think there was either 6 or 8 people in Knoxville, Tennessee that year who had the same thing happen to them. So after 4 months of not knowing what was going on and getting sicker and sicker, he goes to a doctor at like the 5th hospital he went to, and the doctor identified it immediately. And he said, "How did you know?" He said, "I've had 4 people come in here this year with the same exact thing." It was just one of those fluke freaks of nature, bad luck. There was this literally micro tiny percentage of flu strain that was floating around our city, and it only affected 8 people this way. And
Mm.
they all caught congenital heart disease or congenital heart failure from a flu virus, right? So he drops, boom. Now I don't know what to do. I've been home 5 months, I'm sorry, 6 months. I've been home 6 months, but I didn't get out of the halfway house until New Year's Eve of 20. I got out of the halfway house December 30th or 31. I can't remember how many days. The last day of 2019 is the day I left the halfway house. So I moved into my mom's house that night. So January 1, I'm moving to my mom's house and I can move freely. I can do whatever I want and go hang out where I want. He dies 5 weeks after that. So we didn't have a lot of
Damn.
time together. So it throws my whole world into a tailspin. Literally, like it was this close for me going back to who I was before. You know what I'm saying? Like I was
Right.
there. I was like, I don't give a fuck. My life is over. Fuck it all. Prison's not that bad. Like it was there. Right. But my girl was like, hey, she would just grab me by the face at night and say, it's okay to hurt. It's okay to cry. Just stay with me, and I just powered through it because that's sometimes all you can do. Sometimes when situations are so bad, all you can do is just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You just have to get time. You just have to get time in to get away from the emotion. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
have to separate yourself from the event by keeping yourself busy. And I know that
Right.
because I had one of my friends that I haven't seen in 15 years, her best friend OD'd and died, and it did the same thing
Damn.
to her. And so I sat with her for days. We probably sent hundreds of texts back and forth. And I was like, listen to me. Listen, you know who I was. You saw me at my best, you saw me at my worst. And I'm telling you, you've seen where I'm at now. Trust me when I tell you, sometimes all you can do is to keep yourself so busy that you don't have time to think about it. And when that's happening, you're thinking, how can I not think about it? But when you've got kids, you've got laundry to do, you've got dinner to cook, you've got houses to clean, you've got shit like that, you just got to get that separation from the event. So probably 3 weeks after Kidwell dies, I'm still, a train wreck. I emailed these guys and said, hey, this is my story. Um, Kidwell was my best friend. He saved my life on multiple occasions. I saved his life on multiple occasions. He's a 3-time combat veteran. He went to Afghanistan in 2013. The unit he was with, they ended up making a documentary about that unit because the shit was so bad. It's called Into the Hornet's Nest. You can find it on Tubi, Tubi. So I've watched that documentary 20 times. Um, one in 1 in 8 out of the guys in his unit were killed. 1 in 6 they got one out of 6 of the guys in his unit suffered some sort of casualty. That's what you call, and I didn't know this until I got into the military. If I get shot and I don't die, I'm still a casualty. If I get blown
Mm.
up and don't die, I'm a casualty. You think casualty, you think death. But casualty is anything that happens to you that injures you. So 1 out of 8 guys were killed. 1 out of 6 guys were some sort of casualty in the fighting. He was in over 300 gunfights in a 365-day deployment. So this is just the stuff I'm telling him, right? I'm like, yo, this is the greatest man I've ever known. Yeah, did he have a bad past? Did he have a dark time in his life? Yeah, he did. But he beat it. He's been clean for 2 years. Um, he started a nutrition company with his 2 brothers, and this nutrition company is beyond successful now. I try to go by there once every couple of weeks. Um, he's not that guy. This is the guy he was. This is the man he was. And I sent the email, and it was obviously lengthy because everything I do takes a long time. I talk too much, and I hear back from him probably 6 months later. Right? I sent it and forgot it because I did it in a time where my heart was broken, and I just needed to get it out. They sent me an email back. They said, "Hey man, we'd love to make a plaque for Kidwell to give to his family." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So they're like, "Can you send us some pictures?" I was like, "Yeah, cool. I'll send you some pictures." I send him the picture I sent you, a couple other ones. I found some from his time in service, from his Facebook page, shit like that. And then the guy, I wish I could think of his name. He sent me a thing back. He was like, "Hey man, who was Jonathan?" Right? Like, and I don't know Jonathan. I don't know him. That's not Kidwell's my guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's Jonathan Kidwell. Kidwell was my guy.
Right.
And I know a lot of his friends now. We go out and he's like, "Yeah, Jonathan this." I don't know Jonathan because that's his civilian. Does that make sense?
Right. No, I got you. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I'm white. I'm white. He's Kidwell. That's just what it is. Like today, it's just funny. I got a wedding invitation from a guy named Justin Bunch. He stayed in. He just now made sergeant first class in the Army,
Oh,
but
wow.
he was in the 844th with me back in '03. He sent me a wedding invitation today. I've known this guy for almost 20 fucking years. He sends me a wedding invitation today and misspelled my first name. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
we don't know. That's not who we are. He's Bunch. I'm
right,
White. That's Kidwell. That's Holt. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So when this guy sends me this email and says, "Hey, who was Jonathan Kidwell and what was he like?" I'm like, well, why is this guy fucking asking me this time? I can't deal with this shit, right? But I basically wrote like a little mini novel about who he was to me and who he was as a person. I don't
Mhm.
sugarcoat shit. I'll tell you that he had a fucked up, his 20s were fucked up,
Right,
and mine were too. But he tried. Everything, what I can say about him is everything in life he did, he tried. If he was a junkie, he was one of the best fucking junkies out there. If he was a fucking killer, he would go out. I could only imagine him on the battlefield in a gunfight because you see these fucking kids on TikTok always like, and they don't have ice water in their veins. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Kidwell had ice water in his veins. He was a,
right,
a fucking assassin, but he was
right.
also a big teddy bear who, when I saw him with this little girl, Addie, he would fucking cry like a baby when she would leave because his marriage fell apart because he was a dirtbag. But when he's with Addie, I would watch this grown man who I know for a fact has killed at least 5 or 6 people cry like a baby. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
That's who Jonathan Kidwell was. So I try to convey this to these people right at Till Valhalla Project, and these guys were nothing but class the whole way. And they spent days with me on the email talking about who he is, what he was, his heart, what kind of a father he was, you know, this, and this. So finally, they sent it to my house. Right now, the plan is for me to give it to the brothers. The brothers give it to the mom because he has twin brothers that were like 3 years younger than him, and these are exceptional young men, man. Now they're both running the store now that Jonathan's gone. The way it was set up was, I think they have a private investor who gets like 20%, right? Who
right.
funded the whole thing. So you leave 80%. So it was like 25, 25, 25, and then 5% was set up for charity, right? So when Jonathan dies, instead of restructuring the payout, they say, we're going to take Jonathan's 25% and just set it to the side, just like we were doing already, because if he was here, and we're going to donate that to Gold Star families. We're going to donate that to organizations of soldiers who killed themselves. I mean, these kids are in their early 30s, and if I could be half the man that they are, I would be okay with that. So now the thing with Till Valhalla, when they send this plaque out, they want to get the whole record the reaction and things like that, because it's good for morale for everybody. So I take it to them, man. And these guys, it's not just like some wooden plaque with a picture paint like glued onto it. They send you a plaque with the mission statement. They like a formally printed mission statement. It's
Right.
got 3 metal armbands like you would buy for somebody if you have a partner who's been killed in the service. You put their names on them and do all that. They send you 3 of those with cutouts and the foam inserts. Like, it's a big fucking deal. They take Polaroids of the whole process. They sent me a Polaroid with the first email. They sent me a Polaroid with the guy making his plaque. They sent me a Polaroid when it was done. They sent me a Polaroid of them boxing it up. Like, these guys fucking care. His name's Corey Schaefer. That's his name.
Let me write it down.
And I'll text you when we're done. But
Okay.
this guy's made it his life mission to bring awareness to veterans who are died or killed in combat, and B, veterans who take their own life. You know, and they have this wall on Facebook. I'm sure they have it on the internet, but I'm part of their Facebook group, and it stays up forever. It's a picture of everybody they've made a plaque for, and it just rotates, right? It just rotates, and then you can click on it, and it'll tell you their story and how they died. And when you look at
Wow.
it, brother, that how many guys on there, they say lost. They always say, well, we use Kidwell's name for an example. He didn't take his own life, but we'll use his name for an example. It would
Right.
say Sergeant Jonathan Kidwell of Knoxville, Tennessee, or Clinton, Tennessee. Served in this unit, did this, and this, had this many deployments to this country, this country, this country. Lost his battle with his inner demons today on this date, right? So when and
Right.
it's just always revolving. So because their big thing is a hero never dies as long as someone. I'm gonna tear this quote up. I wish a hero is never truly gone until the last time his name is spoken. Like,
Mm,
that old Greek warrior thing.
right.
So that's why that wall's there. So, people, even if you just glance at it for 3 seconds and you don't even know their name, or you click on it, you do see their name. These people aren't forgotten, because they get to the point where they feel like they can't take it anymore. They're by themselves and they take themselves off the board. So that's why it was my biggest thing. Like, I don't know how to make things better, but I know if I spend money with them, they'll help make things better. You know what I mean? Like, they
Right.
donated $500,000 to a 22 a day program trying to help end veteran
Jeez.
suicide, right?
Right.
So I've got like 12 t-shirts from them. I got 2 hoodies. I got all the stickers. I'm in the gold. I'm a legacy guardian. That's the t-shirt you wear when you go to deliver a plaque, because it's a big fucking deal. Like, you see some guy with a t-shirt that says legacy guardian, like, oh, that's cool, but you keep it pushing. But like, to the guy wearing that t-shirt, response, like, you feel it. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
what happens is when you sign up to be a legacy guardian, they send you this t-shirt. Say somebody in Knoxville, Tennessee dies, right? And but the children who wanted the plaque live in Orlando, Florida, but the parents of the kid who died or was killed live in Knoxville. So there's nobody here to give the plaque to them, right? They can send
Right.
me an email and say, hey, Jarett, we're going to send you this plaque. Can you take it to such and such at this address? Now it's my responsibility to put this t-shirt on and go to them, this beautifully crafted, extremely big box of all these things that says how amazing your child was. And I say, here you go, Mrs. Lacey. Thank you for the sacrifices you made for your son to serve our country.
Right.
As a stranger, like, that's a
Yeah.
responsibility I've signed up for. I hope they never fucking send me that, because
Right.
I don't have to know anybody to be crying like a baby. If I see a mama crying for a lost son or daughter, I can't deal with that, but
Right.
I would stand there, I would hug her and cry with her for 30 minutes and tell her, thank you for making this wonderful child. And I'm sorry that he felt he couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
So that's to a Valhalla Project, a 20-minute answer to a simple question. That's who they are as an organization. They have 50,000 followers on TikTok, right? Last week they sent me a promo, says, hey, if you buy one t-shirt or 2 t-shirts or something like that, we'll send you this free red t-shirt, right? So I had my red. They have the big thing in the military is you wear red on Friday if you're a civilian to remember everyone deployed. It's an acronym, right? Red, remember everyone deployed. So on
Right.
Fridays we wear red t-shirts. So I ordered this t-shirt where heroes live on forever. I ordered this one right here. And this one's dope too. I love this t-shirt. It's just the distressed American flag,
Yeah, that's
red t-shirt
badass.
with the
That's the
flag on,
free
the
one you
TDP
got?
flag. No, the free one was the one that says "Remember everyone deployed." It's
Okay.
red with the black letters, and it's got like a soldier on the bottom with a flag behind it. For
Okay.
this one and that one, the other one's free. It comes in, and I'm making talks, right? I'm like tagging. I'm like, oh, this one came in. Check it out. Oh, I got these J's on. I'm like, oh, check this out. These J's match this shirt. Oh yeah, that's fucking dope. And then I'm like, new talk. I'm like, oh look, these J's match this t-shirt. Oh, that's fucking dope. And I'm like, oh, Legacy Guardian. These J's match this t-shirt. Oh god. Right. And I just keep tagging them in like 20 videos. And then finally, I guess yesterday they were like, well, this kid keeps tagging us and blowing us up and promoting us. And like I told you, I'm conservative by nature. I'm sure a lot
Right.
of those guys are conservative by nature because most military people are. And they're like, fuck it, we're gonna send him, we're gonna follow him. And I'm like, I got 8. They were my 80th follow on TikTok, right? Now let me say this: the only reason I make any TikToks and have any followers is because of you. You
Ah,
are the onus
LJ.
of that's a fact. Stop it, because when me and you started talking, I had 0 followers and I was following like 100 people because I used to have it and it became a problem because it's all I would do. And my girl started sending me TikToks all the time to watch, and it became a pain in the ass because I didn't have the app. So I re-downloaded it. That's why I can't DM people on TikTok, because my phone number's tied to my old account and I don't remember all that shit. So me and you start, and you're like, hey man, listen, if you don't start making fucking TikToks and trying to help people, an asshole. Okay. This guy just took 3 hours out of his life to sit down and talk with me. And all he asked of me for doing that was to get my story out there and try to help people and maybe help someone based on my life experiences by making a dumbass TikTok. So I'm like, fair enough. So I start making them, you know, and I'm not like a clout chaser or a like hunter, you know, like
Right.
I think maybe I might have like 15 likes on one video. That would be a success for me. So I started doing it, and it's just kind of, you know, kind of grown, and I'm, you know, I'm silly with it. And you like all my shit, and I appreciate that. I love watching your stuff with the conversations with the guys you talk to. And so then, like, this one girl, her name's Almond Milk, right, with 2 L's. I was talking about something about women holding down men who are in prison, right? And she started following me. This chick has like 100,000 followers. I was like, holy shit, like that's a big deal. But you know, she's just like a young girl who makes, you know, like dancing videos and shit like that. So then when I check my notifications, because it'll usually be like people I know will like 2 or 3 videos at a time, and it's like Till Valhalla Project started following you, and I was like, what? And I'm looking, I'm like, there's no fucking way, right? And I didn't realize I wasn't following their TikTok because I follow them on every other platform. So I'm looking and I'm like, why? Like, why the fuck? Okay, I'm in. Fuck it. Number one brand ambassador, because in my heart, like these guys, I wish I could meet these guys. I wish I could meet the newest employee there. I wish I could meet Corey Schaefer. The mission statement they have as a company is so important to me, and I don't feel like I've looked into some things, but I still don't have a way of directly impacting guys killing themselves. And I don't like that's not something you get in. Like, how do you get into that? I'm still trying to figure that out. But I know this company has made it. I know at least a dozen of their members that work there or in the foundation. I know at least a dozen, if not all of them. Their mission in life is to make it to where no veteran feels like he's alone. He or she is alone to the point of nobody cares about me. Nobody thinks about me enough. And I don't matter enough to not kill myself to stop the things that are going on in my head. And so for them to follow me, for people who feel that way, it's such a big deal, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, who am I? You know, it goes back to that whole who am I? I'm a nobody. You know,
Hell no.
middle-aged dad
Yeah.
from East Tennessee. But you know what I'm saying? I don't mean it like on like a deep level. I don't feel that way. But my brain says, who are you that these guys who have such an important mission would even follow you? It's not like a follow is a big deal. It's not like they're going to move into the other house in the duplex next door. But for them to say, hey, man, we appreciate you enough to hit this simple follow button and kind of keep up with what you're doing enough to, like, there again, it's another one of those responsibility things. Like, I feel the responsibility of those people following me on a silly platform where people shake their ass or do dog videos that I love. All they did was a follow button.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because now instead of like getting on here and like flipping out like I do sometimes when things get to be overwhelming, I'll say, well, I can't do that because I don't want to make those guys feel like we can't be associated with that man because he's a nut job. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to take away anything that they're doing. I don't want to discredit anything they're doing by my silly actions. You know what I'm saying? It just goes to another layer of responsibility for people that I've never met, who I may never meet. I know for a fact I'll meet Corey Schaefer at some point and thank him in person and say, thank you for what you've been doing your whole life and giving up your life's dreams to start a new path that may only save one soldier, sailor, airman, Marine. If he only saves one person with what he's doing, that's okay. That's a win. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey Jay, now what if?
And
now
so
what if? Oh, go for it. My bad. Go for it.
No, you're good. So just for those guys to do that, something so small, like it's a big deal to me. I get it. I could only imagine somebody like liking a sports player and that sports player starts following them. I couldn't even, I'd probably flip out if something like that happened. But this is a bigger deal to me. There's nobody that plays, there's nobody on this planet that would have a bigger impact following me than those guys. And it blew my mind. And I'm telling you, I wish you could have seen me. I spent 20 minutes trying to make a 1 minute video just saying thank you, man. And yeah, it was hilarious. I finally got it. When I was trying to make that one, I finally got why people do that.
Why? You got to send me those drafts of you trying to make it.
Oh, no. We don't save drafts. We discard. We throw them shits in the trash. They're ridiculous. Because I'll get going and I'll start like stuttering or mumbling, like, and then the last 3 seconds of the draft, like, oh, fuck. And then I'll just do it again.
Oh,
it's like a
so
Tourette's
funny.
kid, man. It's funny. And I don't mean Tourette's like it's a bad thing, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, oh,
right.
fuck me. And then I'll just do it again.
That is so funny, Jay. Now, what if they one day they reached out to you and they want you to be a part of their team and what they're about and advertise, their gear?
I would do it for nothing. If they said, hey, we'll send you one t-shirt a month, but you have to do 7 TikToks a week. If you have to do 28 TikToks a month for this one t-shirt, I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. And then God forbid they were ever like, hey, we want you to come on board and be like a brand ambassador. And, we'd actually give you a couple dollars or maybe have you move up to Kentucky, and I'd do it. I'd quit my job right now. That's what I would do. It would become my life mission. All I need is a foot in the door anywhere, to work with a veterans organization and make enough money to pay my bills. That's all I want. I don't fuck money. I don't care about money. Money doesn't matter. And it sounds, oh yeah, some virtue. I'm not. I don't, man. I don't. The greatest thing about the job I have now is 95% of the time when I go out to eat, I don't have to worry about how much it costs. When I need to put gas in my car, I don't have to worry about how much money I can put in gas in my car. I fill the car up. I can take my girl's car and go fill her gas up in her car because apparently women are morally opposed to putting gas in their vehicles. So it cost me $100 when it should be like $35. That's a different story. But literally, man, like if they reach out to me and are like, hey, we'll pay you $35,000 a year, and you just go to events everywhere and just push and get this out, I would do it in a heartbeat. There's a couple of different organizations I follow on TikTok because I hate Facebook, man. I hate it. I hate what it's become. I'm not a big fan of the people who use it regularly now. It's just a bunch of crybaby Karens and Kyles and censoring and community. Fuck them. I hate them. So I don't use it. Instagram, I like Instagram, but I don't ever use it because I like to be. I don't know. It's just not my thing. I wish it was because Instagram is like the new. It's a bigger thing now, which I get. But TikTok's funny and silly, and and like today was terrible, man.
What happened?
I'm watching talks, having a good time. Seeing these silly dog videos. Like there's this dog standing in a lake, like just silly, silly fun stuff. Me and my girl send these talks back and forth. And so I follow Urban Talk, Sneaker Talk, Meal Talk, and like conservative TikTok. Those are like the 4 lanes I'm on, right? So today I'm watching all these silly videos, and then I swipe, and then the next one is a guy getting on there talking about, hey man, my battle buddy who was 19 years old became a part of the 22 yesterday, and I don't know how to deal with it. And then I'm like, I don't want him to kill himself. Like, no. And then I go to like the next one. Next 2 are going to be like dog videos, like a dog tore 3 dogs at the house. One of them tore something up, and the guy was like, who did this? And then the dog touches the other dog, and then the other dog gets mad for snitching. And then the next one is like, this is my mom, and she always loved me, and now she's dying, and they're having this conversation. So it's just all day long. It's like laughing from crying, or crying from laughing, and then crying from guys taking their own life. And it's just this emotional fucking roller coaster today. But I like TikTok, man, because I've seen I've seen the good part of it. You know what I mean? Like you and I would have never known each other had we not
Right.
both been on TikTok. There's a couple cool bourbon guys I follow. They're funny, but there's some like 2 or 3 sneaker people I follow that are cool. But then the biggest thing is these military guys who get on here and tell these funny ass stories or make these funny ass talks where they're doing jump cuts, like the first sergeant, the black guy, I can't think of his name, but he's fantastic. He's always like hammering this specialist that works for him who's always pranking him, and or like angry cops like the drill sergeant who does that. But then I see the serious side of it. Like I saw a story yesterday. It happened in 2008, so 2 years after I got out. It was in the Wanat province, Wanat, in Afghanistan. And I wouldn't have known much about Afghanistan because I didn't deploy there, but Kidwell did. So I knew Afghanistan was always bad. Everybody I've ever met who's been to Iraq and Afghanistan, they always say Afghanistan makes Iraq look like a children's playground. And I know
Wow.
guys who were in shitty places in Iraq, and then they tell me that about Afghanistan. So I'm like, it's bad. Like it's a whole different level of intensity, and so then I see this story about this firefight where this little shitty hilltop base that they should have probably have never been there in the first place, but some asshole in DC decided they needed to be there. You got all these kids who couldn't find that place if their life depended upon it on a map, but that's where they were. That was their hill. It's kind of like a Vietnam type thing. That was their hill. You're not fucking taking it. And I think 14 guys died in this one in the Wanat province of Afghanistan. And the first I ever saw about it was in 2021 on TikTok after a dog video. And that shit just infuriates me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I like about that's the part of TikTok I like to see. The guys who say, "Hey, this is my life, this is my story," or "Hey, I'm really struggling right now and I can't deal with the things I'm seeing in my head and I don't have anybody to talk to. So I'm putting it on the internet for some random asshole to tell me I'm a shitbag for being in the army." But they're willing to put themselves out there because trolls are going to troll, and that's what they do. And I fucking hate them. But
Yeah, they're
for
out there.
somebody to bare their soul and say, "I don't have anybody to talk to," I'm going to just throw it out there on the internet and hope somebody can say, "Hey, man, I'm here for you, brother." That's really the only reason I want it. And
And that's
one of my favorite follows is this dude. His name's Big Old Texan. Have you ever seen him?
uh-uh.
Okay, this guy's in his 40s. He's fucking jacked, bro. He's this big. I think he was in the army. I'm not sure. He might have been a Marine, but he's jacked. But the story, his origin story is, and this breaks my heart. He was deployed, and his wife was still working full time, so they had a babysitter. And now let me back up. His whole page is about being funny and spreading love and positivity and telling you that you can do it. This guy's in better shape than 99% of people in America. Okay, he has a mohawk. He has a beard. He just dyed it pink last night on live. Like he's just a fun guy. But his whole thing, reason he got started on TikTok was when he was deployed and his wife was at home working. They had a babysitter come watch the kids. It was somebody who did it for a long time. The babysitter ended up drowning his son in the bathtub. So that's why he got on TikTok, because he didn't know how to express. He didn't know what to do with what was inside him, because he's carrying the guilt of not being there when his baby son needed him. He didn't know how to express the guilt of, if I wasn't in the army, this wouldn't big picture guilt type shit that he has literally zero control over because he's doing what he's supposed to do with his life, and some shithead came into their life and did something horrible to his son. So he gets on TikTok and makes funny videos. So he was doing a live 2 or 3 days ago, and some asshole commented during the live, "Hey man, it's great that you're in the army. You saved all those people overseas and all your battle buddies, but you couldn't save your son."
Are you for
Bro,
for real?
I can't deal with that. I can't deal with shit like that. That makes me. Here's
Yeah.
the thing. These are some things I know. One, That's not okay. Even if he wasn't a veteran, even if he was just a regular random, even a shitty ass guy who had kids at home, but he was doing what he was supposed to do to make it happen. If somebody said that to them, that's not okay. But it's a veteran who was deployed and had no control over the whole situation, and some shitbag says this on his live. And so, number two, what I think is prison's not that bad. I know prison's not that bad from life experience. I would literally, and this is why I'm glad you can't just be where people are, because I don't know the big old Texan. I've never met him. I probably won't ever meet him in my life. But for someone to say that to a military member, I would kill that person. I don't want to get taken down for this or that. But that's not okay. We don't do that. We don't disrespect a human being, let alone a fucking active duty military member who's doing what he's supposed to do. And then you're some shithead who, if I had to guess, is probably in his early 20s or late teens. Maybe he's a younger 13-year-old who thinks that
Mm-hmm.
shit's funny. We don't say that. And you don't get a pass for that. That's why I follow the Great Lundini. The Great Lundini gets on troll accounts. People who say, like this one little girl I follow. She's a transgender girl trying to make it, and she's awesome. Or like that the girl, like the big girl I was telling you about.
Right.
That's where I found her. Somebody was like, "Why don't you just kill yourself and get out of here, you big whale?" The Great Lundini gets on TikTok, finds that username, finds their real name, finds where they live, gets their parents' email address, emails the parents, emails the principal, emails the cops, emails all these people, and puts these bitches on blast. That's what I like. That's why I follow the Great Lundini, who TikTok has banned 10 times for simply putting a name and face to an actual troll who says things that will make people kill themselves. People will kill themselves for things like that.
Yeah.
You didn't save your son. If he wasn't a strong, and I'm sure he's got demons, if he was a weaker man, he would say, because what his brain is going to do is say, you know what, that asshole is right. You didn't save your son. And then you have to deal with all that shit. And then you kill yourself because some unnamed, unfaced troll feels like it's okay to say that to you. That shit's not okay. That's the part of TikTok I don't like. The part I do like is the people who are getting on here trying to be successful and trying to make it in a world that wants to kill you and bring you down every chance they can. Like your story, the things you told me in private conversations and on the podcast last time. I love it. That's why that's the shit I love to see. Guys who've had been through guys and girls who've been through adversity and say, you know what, I made it and that's over and I can deal with it. But instead of just focusing solely on myself, like human beings will do, I'm going to take time out of my. I live in East Tennessee. It's 9:30 right now. It's like 6:30 where you live, 5:30,
Right.
6:30 where you live. It's Saturday night. You're sitting here talking with me. You could be out doing something fun. You could be, but you were like, well, this guy.
I'd rather
This
stay
guy
with
might
Jay,
bring
man.
some information that helps somebody.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's the shit I like.
Right.
So it's good and bad. If it was either no social media or social media as it is right now, I would gladly wipe it off the board.
Oh yeah.
Granted, it would hurt people. I mean, people wouldn't get things that they could help them, but overall, it's not worth it, man. But it's where we're at, and it's not going anywhere. So
Yeah,
you and I have to put the time in to say, hey, don't listen to these assholes who are never going to be good people. They're shitty people at heart. Listen to these people who are good people at heart.
Right. Damn, Jarett. And I'm glad you got on. I'm glad you got on because at first you were kind of like yeah, TikTok. I go on there, because of my daughter and stuff, and your wife.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, I'm gonna try it out and start these videos. And your wife encouraged you also, right? And
For sure.
I'm glad you started, bro, because I enjoy every day. Every day I'll go on. I swear to God, every day I'll go on your profile and I'm looking. I'm like, did Jay post another video? Let me check it out. I swear, bro. Let me check it out. And
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, bro. Once I get to a higher platform, I'm gonna take you with me, and we're gonna do something big. Military, post-military, prison, mental health, and you can relate to all of it. Like legit, you can relate to all of it. And look at you now, though. Like You overcome these tragic experiences that your everyday person has not experienced, and you have to provide for your family, and you're putting in damn near 80 plus hours a week. You know what I mean? And trying to, like I said, provide for your family while having your best buddy that you grew up with, did everything together. Kid will, you know, rest in peace, and bless his heart, pass away,
For
last year,
sure.
and you having to deal with that, man. Like, it's it's okay. It's okay to talk about it, and that's the thing that society needs to talk about. It's okay. Like, I guarantee these whatever you want to call them, these famous TikTokers or whatever, they haven't gone through shit, man. The Addison Ray, Bryce Hall, those people, I be pretty sure you know who they are. They're out here getting paid millions
Sure.
of dollars. They're getting out here paid millions of dollars
For
just
nothing.
to entertain some BS, some 13-year-olds. While we have Jarett White over here, served in the military, served our country, served our people, risked his life, sacrificed his life to make Americans, have a better life. And his buddy died, and he struggled with addictions, and he went to prison for 9.5 years. And now he's about to make damn near over six figures. Like, I would put, if I was NBC, if I was ABC or Good Morning America, I'd have you on right now,
I
ASAP.
agree. I appreciate that, and I know exactly where you're coming from. I feel the
Right.
same way. Like you have these shitbirds who do nothing but do these dumbass trendy dances on TikTok, and they're getting paid to do this and that. They're not making anyone's life better. It's
Mm-mm.
all superficial. It's all temporary, and then same thing. I could say the same for you. So you have all these assholes on TikTok doing nothing, and then we flip to you, and I see your videos. You have 9, 10 likes, and I'm like, how is this guy not? Because you deal. People are
It's
so
yeah. It's a
they're so
process.
shallow and so superficial. And I know it's a grind, but what I do know for a fact is guys like you who grind it out, who take the long road to success, that
Mm,
success lasts. Those people, like those little kids, those little I don't the Demilo girls and all that, they make I don't know. Them girls make so much money. They're good either way, but you know
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Those mid to upper middle tier TikTokers, that shit's all temporary. They're gonna get out there and they're gonna be drunk one night and say something that the mobs, they're gonna advocate for the cancel culture mob, and then they're gonna do something innocuous, and it's gonna rub somebody the wrong way, and then the mob's gonna turn around and eat them. Whereas you're sitting here doing the hard work, doing the long work, having a hour and 38-minute conversation with me, you know, as far as numbers go, two nobodies have a conversation about actual things that matter.
Right.
That when you put that work in, that long hard grind, just like Elon said, the difference between a guy who works 40 hours a week and the guy who works 100 hours a week, the guy who works 100 hours a week will do what the guy who works 40 hours a week, he'll do what he did in 4 months compared to the other guy in a year. I mean, I hate I hate that the process is so slow, because everything in the world now is instantaneous. Amazon
Right.
Prime 2-day delivery, Amazon Express 2-hour delivery. Everything's instant. So that's why the masses have trained themselves to want instant gratification. But instant gratification gets you nowhere in life, because you cannot appreciate anything that is given to you. If someone
Right.
gives you something, you won't appreciate it. But if you bust your ass and work 12 hours a week and take that 12 hour, if you work 60 hours a week, but you spend 12 hours of that week's money on buying something, you're not going to lose it. You're not going to be flippant about it if someone breaks it, or you know what I'm saying? It's not going to get left behind. Whereas, you can give somebody everything in the world. You've seen it. I've seen it. You've seen it. I've seen it. Guys and girls who've won the lottery and got $80 million, and then 3 years later they're broke.
Right.
Elon's
Yeah.
not broke. Warren Buffett's
And,
not broke. Bill Gates is not broke. The guys who, this is what I hate so much about the world today. Like, everybody's like the fucking evil 1%, the eat the rich and all that shit. They look at Jeff Bezos now having $200 billion. That's absurd. Is it absurd? Because Jeff Bezos used to work 120 hours a week. There's a picture on the internet right now of him sitting in a 8x10 office that he rented. It wasn't the building. He rented an 8x10 office, and behind him, he had a vinyl poster that said Amazon.com. Somebody drew on with a marker. That's how he started. He worked 120 hours a week. He had nothing for years and years and years, and then one day it caught. So to
mm,
say that the top 1% are evil because they're stealing from people, well, that's not true, because everybody I know buys shit off Amazon every single day.
right.
You know how you make Jeff Bezos broke? Everybody stop using Amazon. You're like, oh, that's absurd. I need Amazon. Well, you don't need Amazon. You can take your fucking ass to Walmart and get your body wash, and you can get your bath soap, and you can get your freaking baby powder. You don't need him, but that's the key. That's the key to success: making other people's lives easier and figuring out how to do it. And that's what you're doing in a different, in an intellectual sense of, you don't have to touch the stove to know it's hot. You can watch these 30 interviews I have with 30 different guys telling you they all touch the stove and it's fucking hot. All you have to do is
Right.
be willing to listen to them and say, you know what? They might be right. They they've experienced cause and effect. They've experienced consequences of their choices. So that's why I know for sure you'll be successful. It may take a year, may take 2 years, may take another 5, but you're young enough and you're willing enough to grind it out. So when you do pop and Spotify comes to you one day and says, hey, or when Barstool comes to you and says, hey, we'd like to have your podcast on our channel and we'll pay you 200 grand the first year, 400 grand the second year, 600 grand the third year, and then after that we'll figure it out. You're still going to take the time, energy, and effort you put into this that you own. Or what would make me even happier if you were like, no, I'm good. I'm going to keep grinding it out for 2 years. And then Spotify comes to you and hits you with like a Joe Rogan type deal to say, yeah,
Mm,
this is mine. And then you don't have to worry about people saying, hey, we'd like for you to have the BLM co-founder on your show. Do it. And you can say, well, I don't align. I don't know how you feel about that. That's not what I'm saying.
yeah.
But if you say, I don't align with that particular person's values, so they're not going to be on my fucking show. And so
Right.
what do they say? They say, okay, they can't say anything because it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
But how old are you?
22.
Oh my God. Fucking 20. I
I
thought you
love
were
you,
like
Jay.
27.
Jay, I love you, bro. For real.
I would
I
give
love you, man.
anything in the world I would give anything in the world to be literally halfway to where you are right now at 22. If I was halfway to where you are right now at 22, I would literally cut my right foot off. The way you see the world and the way you recognize how things truly are, I'm not kidding you, man. And like I said, I'm 36, but in my brain, I'm about 65. And that's why I wouldn't trade prison for anything, because it gave me the perspective that takes a lifetime to learn. It gave me that because I actively thought about things like that for 10 years. Right now, I'm not kidding you, Sid. You're probably in your mid 40s as far as perspective. You see the world for what it really is, and you see how you can help change it. You don't buy into the dumb shit, the bullshit. You say, hey, this is what everybody's screaming about on TikTok or on the news or on the mainstream media or even any media. You say, well, I don't know if that's true. Let me take my own time and actually talk to people who are saying this is affecting. And then you do that, and then you see it, and then you say, oh no, it's not like that. That's not what's happening. You know what I mean? That's not what's really going on.
Right.
At 22 years old, I mean, I still find myself very, very rarely, like, I'm not, pumping my own self
I
up, but
love you, Jay.
I don't
Hey,
go for
Jarett,
the
I love you,
bullshit
bro. I
anymore, man.
appreciate you, man. For real. No, nay, for
I
real.
appreciate you,
I
man, more than
do.
you could ever possibly know. A kid from Fresno, California, and a middle-aged white dude from fucking Knoxville, Tennessee, and me and you're right here, man. And if it ever
Right.
goes bad, I told you, I'm moving to Texas next year, bro, because this country cannot sustain the path it's on.
Right.
I'm telling you, 12 months from now, I'm moving to fucking Texas, and I'm buying as much property as they'll give me, and I'm inviting everybody that I love down there. You and your family,
Hell yeah.
feel free to come to Texas, build a house on my land. We'll have our own little ranch. We can call it whatever we want to call it. We can call it the Common Sense Zone, whatever. Because
I appreciate that, Jay.
these dummies who think they have it all figured out, who actually have nothing figured out,
Right.
are doing everything in their power to train wreck our country as we know it. And that sounds dystopian and morbid, but it's not, man. It's not. If you just look at the numbers, if you look at what's going on, if you look at the dumb shit happening, like I didn't want to come home to this, man. I didn't.
Right.
I didn't want to come home to people screaming, and I know now, only 2 out of 10 people on the street have Twitter. It's the loudest 1% on both sides of the spectrum, and the spectrum is not a line. Far left and far right, it's not a straight line. You have centrist. Most people stay within about 10% of the center on either issue, um, Democrat or Republican. But the farthest 1%, it's a circle. It's a circle graph. The far left and far right are this far apart. They're this
Mm.
far. They're right here at each other. If you simply break down their ideas and their thought processes, they're almost identical. They just word it differently. So, but these two people, everybody's decided, hey, we're only going to listen to these two assholes way back here instead of listening to the 90% over here who want our country to succeed. And my girl, this is so funny. We recently had a kid got killed at a high school in my city, right? At Austin East High
Damn.
School. You can look it up. You can TikTok it, Google it, YouTube it. This kid, he was a good kid. I mean, he was a good kid at heart, but he had a shitty past. He had made a lot of mistakes, and the story's way too big to get into on it right now. It'd take 20 or 30 minutes to explain it all, but it ended up being a cop ended up killing this kid in the bathroom at school. But the way it was reported was white cop murders unarmed black teen.
Mm.
But in all actuality, it was the black teenager had a gun in his hoodie pouch, the big pouch on the front.
All right.
And when they went to, and they were sent there based on a false report from the kid's girlfriend's mom. She called the cops and said, "Hey, this kid is doing this." He didn't do that. But if that's all they know, if somebody tells the cops, "Hey, this kid is doing this," they have to respond to that. So they walked
Right.
in, they were being cool, they're being calm, and when they went to handcuff him, he obviously didn't want to get handcuffed because he had a gun on him, and everybody knows a gun in school is not good. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to jail. When they went to handcuff him, they got to tussling around, and one of the cops saw the gun, called the gun, and then a black cop is actually the one who killed the black kid, and it's horrific. My girlfriend knows 5 of the people involved. She knows 3 of the 4 cops that were in the bathroom. She knows them personally. And when I tell you, brother, it has almost destroyed these 3 cops' lives. 2 of them are black, 1 of them are white. These 3 cops are heartbroken that this is what it came to. And it's just a shitty situation all around. But the way the media framed it was, cop kills unarmed teen in high school. That's not what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's how it was reported. So now you have people all over these social media platforms
Mm-hmm.
screaming about the police are killing these black children. And yes, the police did kill a black child. It, there was no good outcome that could come from it. I don't know. Now I know several cops, I know several military veterans. A lot of times they're the same thing, right? No one gets up at no one, in my opinion. I don't know. There may be a cop out there, but the cops I know in East Tennessee, okay, no cop gets up, especially in 2021, and gets up and goes to work and says, "Hey, I want to shoot a black kid today," or "Hey, I want to shoot a white kid today," or "Hey, I want to shoot anyone today." All these cops are thinking, "I'm going to get up. I want to go to work. I want to do my fucking job, and I want to go home. I don't want to shoot anybody.
Right.
But to be vilified as a whole, and obviously, with the whole Jarett show thing and all that, it's just a shitty fucking time. But to think as a business, as a media business, to sit up and say, you know what I think we should do today? I think we should vilify the police officers. I think we should undermine the entire police force as a whole across the entire country and say they're a bunch of racist, shitty assholes.
Hmm.
Why would you say that? We can get into not obviously not right now, and you and I, but I mean we can get to the statistics and look at it, break it down, and all that. But at the end of the day, why would you promote anything that's going to cause any group of people to either A, hate a group of people, or B, want to kill a group of people? What do we gain from that? And that's like we touched on this last time on the second part that didn't get uploaded, but
Damn, I know. I was pissed. I was pissed
me
about
too.
that.
It got good because we were really grooving, but why over and listen is how crazy this is, and I don't like to think that there's something nefarious at play on a government or on a corporate level in America, but I think there is. For a few extra dollars in your pocket, why would you want to promote anything that's not the truth? Now, if it's the truth, like let's take Rodney King for example, right? You're a lot younger than I am, but we all know who
Oh,
Rodney
Rodney
King was,
King. Oh
and
yeah.
what happened to him was not okay. It would never be okay, and if it happens again, that it's a 0% okay scenario, right? But so anything that's not that, for the sake of dollar bills, why would you want to make and promote a storyline where people will be killed and or harmed? That's not the truth. If it's the truth, it's your job to get it out there. But if it's not the truth or you don't know the whole truth, why would you want to promote that? Like that's what I can't wrap my mind around,
It's
Now,
it's that
police
money,
brutality
Jay.
is not okay. I fucking hate it. I know. And this is what makes me sick about people. And this is why this is the fundamental difference between the people on the left and the people on the right. They believe everybody is the people on the left think everybody's fundamentally good, where the people on the right believe that everybody is fundamentally flawed.
Right.
So if you operate from a position of everybody's good, then you cannot find common ground with people who think everybody's fundamentally flawed. Now, and I know that everybody's fundamentally flawed. Okay. You told me that story about your dad way back in the day. I told you
Right.
stories about all the people I've known who've done terrible, shitty things. Um, Not saying that all humans are flawed. I'm not
Right.
saying that all humans are wrong or evil, but a majority of humans, if you give them the opportunity to get over on somebody else, especially without having to deal with the people they get over on, they're going to do it.
Right.
And so to operate from a starting point of everybody's good and we don't need cops, because if we didn't have cops, nobody would be getting killed by the cops. Well, every example of that shows if you don't have police, the people who suffer are the people you're trying to defend. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are going to take advantage of people. That's why you go back to the whole, you have sheep and you have wolves and then you have sheepdogs. And sheepdogs are the people who protect the sheep from the wolves. And there's wolves out there. Every country on the planet, there's a group of people or people in general who will take advantage of people who are weak. Just like I said, I'm 36-year-old man. I don't need the cops for nothing. I do not need police officers for nothing on this planet. If you break into my house, you're gonna leave going out feet first. If you fucking touch my mama, you're gonna leave going out feet first. If you steal from me, the answer is always the same. You're not gonna
Right.
take my shit. You're not gonna disrespect my family. You're not gonna do it. But my wife is a 44-year-old woman who's 5'2" and 100 something pounds. My mama's 57 years old. I can do whatever I want to them. In all honesty, and just on a factual basis, I can do whatever I want to those women. My granny's 87 years old. What the fuck
Mm,
is she going to do with two people who come in her house and say, "We know you have cash because you don't trust the bank, so let me get it."
mm,
They need the police. That's what I'm saying. I don't need cops. The threat of consequences is the only thing keeping society in check. So to
right,
say, "Oh, we don't need the police," that's ridiculous. Because
right,
people, shitheads are going to shithead. That's what, you know what I mean? Trolls are going to troll. Dirtbags are going to dirtbag. Politicians are going to politician. That's what they do. Whatever a person is what they're going to do. If you're a morally corrupt person, you're going to get over because you're lazy and you're a dirtbag.
right.
So to
I,
vilify any group of people that is designed to protect people, and I'm not saying that cops don't make mistakes because they do, and it fucking pisses me off because I believe they and all the cops I know, they hold themselves to a higher standard, just like I hold myself to a higher standard in the sense of I have all these things working against me, so I have to go above and beyond and be better than the average Joe.
right,
Because the average Joe has no requirements of him. All his requirements are is to not commit any crimes and to go to work and get shit done. I'm not the average Joe. I'm an ex-con. I'm a violent ex-con. So if you meet me and that's the first thing you know about me, that's your perception of me.
right,
So I say instead of being here as the average Joe, I elevate and stay here. So not only do you not expect that of me, but also maybe you'll give the other guys that are like me the benefit of the doubt. But people don't
right.
operate like that, man.
Jarrett White for president.
Man, listen, you're crazy. I thought about that too. I would love to run. I mean, I would just like to be like a city council member or a mayor
That'd be dope.
or a what do they call them in Chicago? They call them like
This,
ombudsman or some shit like that. Just
yeah,
it. I think you have to be. I think you have to spend time in the shit to appreciate the goodness of life. You know what I mean? I
that
don't
was
think
deep.
Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom or any of those people who are career politicians. I don't think they can't relate to any single person who is a constituent of them. You know, how could they? If you've been in government for 40 years, if you've been living in DC for 40 years, how the fuck do you know what's going on in Fresno, California? How the fuck do
Right,
you know what's going on in Knoxville, Tennessee? You don't. And to
right,
sit here and tell me, hey, I know this virus, and not to, just like Joe Rogan always says, not to undermine or downplay anybody who's lost their life from this virus, because I have a really good friend whose dad lost his life because of corona, but he had also had pneumonia. He also had like 4 comorbidities. Not to downplay that loss because it's a very real thing. But how the fuck are you going to tell me as a 36-year-old male, um, I can't go to work today because there's a 0.003% chance I may catch corona and die from it?
mm,
Riddle me this, Sid. Tell me this. Help me out here, brother. My girlfriend tested positive for COVID-19 3 weeks ago, right?
right,
This is me and my girlfriend. It's me, my girlfriend, and my dog in my home. 2 people, one dog. Now, I'm me, okay? I've been in prison for 10 years. So now you can imagine a guy who's been in for prison for 10 years, he's kind of probably going to want to be all over his girl all the time. You
right,
know, just. So here's
right,
me. We'll say my hand is my girlfriend, right?
right,
This is us every single day, right here. This is where we live. In each other. We're right fucking here every day.
right. You didn't catch it.
Never, not once.
Jarrett, real quick. Jarrett, real quick. That's funny you brought that up. I don't know if I texted you. I think I texted you when your girl had corona. My girlfriend Julia.
Uh huh.
I was right here. We were right here in bed, laying down, whatever. Didn't even know she had it at all. 2 days later,
Of course you didn't.
got corona, and I didn't get it. I didn't get it, and her mom had it also, and her boyfriend didn't get it. Isn't that something?
Imagine
Isn't
that.
that crazy?
Now, let's put the tinfoil hat on for a second, okay, Sid? Me and you tinfoil hat, we're on here.
Right.
I seen your workout videos the other day. You're a young cat, healthy immune system. I can only imagine. You're yoked up, which I'm jealous, but that's fine, no big deal. Okay, you're a young, active, healthy person. Okay,
Right.
I would imagine Julia is. I've seen a couple of her talks. She seems like she's in really good shape, but she caught it.
Right.
Did it hammer her? Did she have a hard time with it or no?
No, not. I mean, not really. No, she did it when she had it. Not really. Maybe for like a day, but afterwards, she's like, "What the hell?"
Okay. Now let's jump over here to me. 36-year-old guy was in prison for 10 years. My immune system. The thing about prison is your immune system is the same as just about everybody in there because you're all exposed to the exact same thing. There was years where guys would come in from other facilities with a cold or a flu, and it would literally train wreck the entire compound. I saw it one year. There was 600 or 700 guys caught the flu within 2 weeks of a new guy coming in. Just, I mean, it runs through there like the settlers giving the smallpox blankets to the Indians, just for like it's like
Right.
that.
Damn.
So I come home. I started smoking again, beginning of 2020. I smoked way too much. I got back into drinking bourbon about 6 months ago. I drank way too much. So I smoke. I drink whiskey every day. But I work outside. Now, every study I've seen, I've read about 12 of them because I don't argue with people based on emotions. I discuss things and argue with people based on facts and statistics. And that makes me seem like an unempathetic asshole. And I get that because I look at it from a factual standpoint, not from a feeling standpoint, right?
Right.
So every study I saw says vitamin D is the number one component in fighting COVID-19. If you have sufficient levels of vitamin D, one study showed that 86% of people that were in the ICU had insufficient levels of vitamin D. And of those people that were in the ICU, only 4% of the people in the ICU had sufficient levels, right? Now, so juxtapose that with me working outside every single day. I have a extremely dark tan
Got
for
the
a,
tan
a,
line.
a Irish Scottish white guy. You know what I'm saying? My tan is insane. It's a farmer's tan. I take my shirt off, I'm like a white belly fish. But I'm in the sun all day, every day, right? I'm in the sun all day, every day. I eat shit. I eat food from gas stations because we don't have time to stop to get real food at lunch. All these things. So the only thing I have going for me, I smoke, I drink. I'm overweight. I'm 6'2", 240. I'm not morbidly obese, but if you look at the Army stats, the Army standards, I am considered morbidly obese, but I'm not because the standards are bullshit.
Right.
Um, I Nothing changed with me and my girlfriend. She said, "Oh, you're gonna have to do." I said, "Shut up. If you've got corona, I'm getting it with you. That's what we're doing." I
Right.
never caught it,
Mm.
and the only thing I contributed that to. Now we've been on vitamins for 2 months too. We take zinc. We take I can't think of quercetin. We take vitamin D. We take vitamin C. We take all the things, and I took it more regularly than she did. But I'm in the sun every day. She works inside. She doesn't get enough sleep because she gets up at 4:30 in the morning. All these factors, right? So now for a government to tell me they know better than me that I can go to work, fuck you. You don't know
Right.
anything. You haven't got any Republican and Democrat. Neither one of those bitches have got anything right the last 8 years. Joe
Right.
Biden, Donald Trump, the tail end of Barack Obama. Y'all haven't got shit right in 8, 10, 12, 20 fucking years. You sent us into
Right.
Iraq chasing somebody who was in Afghanistan the whole time. Like, and you know me, like I said, I was in the army. I wish I would have stayed in the army. But as an older man looking back on it, it's all bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. There's bullshit going on and people are losing their lives over it, and we'll just call it the cost of doing business, and that's fine. I'm not upset about my time in the army. I'm not upset about being deployed. I'm not upset about any of it. But to think that these assholes who have no real world experience can tell me I can't go to work, I can't go see my granny, I can't kiss my mama when I see her. Fuck you, man. What are you doing?
Right.
Imagine taking this podcast right here. So let's give it a scenario. You take this podcast, you've been doing it for a couple years now, and you do it for 8 more years, right? And it's blowing up. Like you're getting paid. This is your full-time job. You make $100,000 a year, right? And then the government says, hey, man, you can't do it anymore. And you're like, well, but I've been doing it 80 hours a week for the last 10 years to get to this point to where I can finally be successful in life. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, man. One person might die at some point.
Mm.
The fuck out of here, man. And this is what it all goes back to. And like I said, I don't diminish anybody who's lost a loved one because of this virus. I don't, you know. Um, but I have a better chance of being struck by lightning twice than I do of dying from coronavirus. And you're going to tell me that I can only do this and this and this? Fuck you. You're not doing it. I'm not doing it. And you know, my mom, she was like, "Hey, we're going on a family vacation in September. Your dad would like for you guys to be vaccinated before you come down." I said, "I'm not going. I'm not
Right.
going." And they're like, "Oh well, vaccine hesitancy and yeah, yeah." And no, I get it. I get that the vaccine only kills or only causes problems with 0.00001% of people. But the coronavirus only causes problems with, for my age, for myself,
Right.
it only causes problems with, I only have a 0.0001% chance. So instead of three zeros, there's four. Like it's the
Right.
same thing. I don't trust people who do dumb shit on the regular basis to tell me how to live my life. And like that's my thing. I realized the other day I am a 100% libertarian. All I want for life is leave me the fuck alone. If you want your
Right.
taxes, I'll pay them. Leave me alone.
Right.
People are like, oh, you're this or you're that. No, I'm not. I want a gay couple to be able to stand in front of their business and protect it with machine guns while saying you're not going to do this or that. That's what I want.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
That's
Yeah.
lesbian, gay, and I want their adopted son to be inside and saying we're going to protect our family, this son that we adopted, and we're gay or lesbian or pansexual or whatever the alphabet says they are now, transgender. And I don't want people who don't have my best interests at heart. I don't want them to tell me what to do. That's
Right.
all. I'll pay you your money. You can have my money. Fuck money. You know, you can have it. You can blow it. You know, we spent $6 trillion on payouts for COVID-19 because, and this is what I really wanted to get to, going to the mental health aspect of it. We spent between $4 and $6 trillion on COVID-19 relief bills because if one person dies, that's too many. Then why the fuck are we not spending any money on fucking veterans who kill themselves at the rate of 22 a day? Why the fuck aren't we
Right.
doing that?
Right.
California has spent over $1 billion on the homeless in the last 2 years, and there's more homeless now than there's ever been in California.
Right.
$1 billion. You know the difference between a million and a billion? If you turn it from
Done.
cents into
Done.
seconds, $1 million is 11 days of time. $1 billion is 31 fucking years. You can't figure out how to get people off the streets with 31 years worth of money, but you're going to tell me what I can do with my life? Fuck you and fuck that.
Right.
This
You're
it's
right.
just it's all a game, man. It's all a game. You want to tell me to get vaccinated? You want to tell me to stay home for 6 months? You want to tell me to do this and this because one life is too many? Because you don't want to kill somebody's grandmother? Well, how about my fucking 24-year-old battle buddy who fucking killed himself because he had to kill 6 people because you said he needed to? For what fucking reason? You don't care about
Right.
his life.
Right.
The liquor store today and spent $80 on 2 bottles of bourbon, 2 packs of cigarettes, and 2 Monster Energy drinks. Monster Energy drinks have 83 grams of fucking sugar in them. We all know cigarettes will kill you if you don't quit fucking smoking them. And
Right.
alcohol is the #1 killer of people in the United States of America. How the fuck did I go buy that?
Right.
That's okay. I just ordered 2 pizzas from Pizza Hut. The 375 fucking calories per slice, and I'm gonna eat both of them. That's okay.
Right.
Me,
Right.
man.
Right.
And that's when I talk to people, like when I see that dumbass on TikTok, Victoria Hammond, when I see her stupid ass on there talking about Orange Man bad because he puts fucking kids in cages. But when fucking Joe Biden gets in there and there's fucking 1,500% more kids in cages because he said,
Right.
come to the border. The
Right.
fuck, come on, man. That's not
Right.
okay. And that's the fundamental difference between the left and the right. I see everything I just said to you. I see that shit because I know it, and I see that's the shit we do every fucking day. And these assholes think that the government knows best. The government's a bunch of fucking morons, man. And
Right.
I
It's
don't
that,
mean
that's
I don't give a fuck because it's Joe Biden. He's a fucking Joe. Joe Biden's a fucking moron. Okay, Kamala Harris is the #1 cop to ever fucking walk the place on earth. She was the DA in California before she became a politician.
The
She
marijuana
kept guys
charges.
on death row when there was tons of exonerating evidence showing that the man didn't do it. She kept him there because it was free fucking labor. She keeps guys past their sentences, same fucking thing. And if you want to be honest, the Republicans love cops. She was the #1 cop. She's a Republican's wet dream if you look at her fucking policies when she was the DA. But to say that, and then if you go back to Donald Trump, he did a lot of dumb shit too. And I'll fucking say it in a second. I'm not an orange man is God. Trump's God. I don't think that way. I call everybody on their bullshit. But to act like you said this, so this is what you're going to do. Joe Biden hasn't done one thing he said he was going to do getting in there. And when people call him on it, the other people that you say something to them about it say, well, you're just a fucking hypocrite, or racist, asshole, shithead. Okay. That's what I'm saying, man. If you care about people's lives lost, but nowhere in the top 10 of lists of people whose lives have been taken or who've killed themselves, a veteran is in there. When Kamala Harris as a veteran shouldn't consider themselves a veteran shouldn't consider themselves a special class of citizen because all they did was do a job that someone else didn't do. Fuck you, man. You know
Right.
what I mean? You ask these fucking kids. You asked me when I was 20 years old because I was a young, dumb country kid to say, they brought the towers down. What are you going to do? I'm going to fucking go do something about it. And I did. But now you got these kids going in now. One of my wife's best friends, his son just went through basic training. They had 4 kids kill themselves within the first 2 weeks of basic training.
Damn.
That's okay. Those 4 kids don't matter. Why don't they matter? But if I don't get vaccinated and wear a mask, I want to kill somebody's grandma. No, that's not the case. I don't want anybody's grandma to die. I love my granny. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but I love her more than life itself. But to sit here and try to shame anybody because of some fucking vaccine or some vaccine hesitancy or anything like that because some asshole politician said something, the same politicians, Biden, Harris, and whoever else was the third top Democrat in the primaries last year said if Donald Trump comes out with the vaccine, I'll never take it. But when Biden gets elected 2 months afterwards, you're telling me take the vaccine. If not, you don't love America. Come on, man.
Yeah.
If we don't respect our veterans, if we don't put that, I love when people say shit like this. If they say, if you don't put the same energy, keep that same fucking energy. I love when people keep that same fucking energy when it comes to saving somebody's grandma as it does to these fucking 23-year-old kids who feel like they're alone and walking through the darkness with a blindfold on and they don't feel like they can talk to anybody because their fucking heart's breaking and their brains tell them to kill themselves so they can get these fucking images out of them. If you keep that same fucking energy and spend that same money on saving their fucking life, fuck you, man. Everything's out the window from there for me. I'm done. I'm done playing the game. I'm done giving a fuck about any of these assholes. Fuck them and fuck you if you think it's okay, because it's not. If a 26 or 27, 28, 30, 40, 50-year-old veteran who went over there and that's not even that. You don't even have to go over there and be in the shit every day like Kidwell was. You can go over there and be in the shit 1 or 2, 3 times like I was. You can go over there. It changes who you are fundamentally as a fucking person when you have to point a gun at someone and take their fucking life because they drove through a stop sign. So now I don't know why they drove through the stop sign. It says stop in 6 languages, but they drove through it. Maybe they have a bomb in there. And then it goes back to the whole, well, then if they have a bomb in there, I'm okay if they blow me up because I'm not willing to shoot somebody in the hopes that there's not a bomb in there. So I'll
Right.
take my chances. But I'm not okay if they blow Kidwell up. I'm not okay if they blow Marshall up. I'm not okay if they blow Godfrey up. So I'm going to kill that person because somebody didn't see a fucking stop sign.
Right.
To say those people aren't any more special than a normal American. Yeah, they are. They fucking are because 85% of Americans can give 2 fucks less about this country because they've listened to the dumb shit that the fucking media and the government's been feeding them this whole time. These are people who have made actual sacrifices. This is the difference between somebody who fucking puts up and shuts up or somebody who just sits on the couch and armchairs quarterback it. It's not okay, man. $4 trillion, bro. If $1 billion is 31 years, what the fuck is a trillion? Is that 310 years? 1 trillion is 300 years in seconds, and we still have veterans killing themselves every day. I still saw a TikTok today of a guy fucking bawling his eyes out because his best friend killed himself because he thought he was alone. But you want to say one life's too many when it comes to COVID, a disease that you have a 99% chance of surviving. You have a better chance of dying in a car wreck to go get more Chicken Shack. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Right.
Like that is not okay. I'm just done, man. Like I can't,
Preach it, Jay.
and
I
it's
love
not
it, man.
like my mental, like I'm losing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this dude, and I don't know if you've seen this. The only podcast I really listen to anymore is Joe Rogan. I listen to like Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen. I love those two guys. But Joe Rogan had this stand-up comedian on there named Dave Smith the other day. His full-time job is a stand-up comedian, but he's a libertarian, and he fucking just preaches all the things that if you wrote the 5 things that he says on paper and you read them out loud to yourself, you'd say, "This is what we should be." And Joe Rogan asked him. He said, "Are you going to run for office?" He's like, "I think I'm going to, but if not," he was like, "Well, what kind of candidate would you want to see, and why would you not run for office?" And this gave me fucking chills when he said it out loud, man. He said, "I'll do it because somebody needs to be on there talking that liberty shit like it's supposed to be talked." You know what I'm saying? Talks that liberty shit like it's supposed to be talked. A fucking country, a government, any level has no right to tell you what you can do with your fucking life. If you like to smoke weed, bro, smoke weed every day. As long as you're taking care of your shit, smoke it. I don't give a fuck. You want to do cocaine? Do cocaine. You want to do it? I don't give. I used to think that was crazy, but then he said, because Ron Paul, Ron Paul is Rand Paul's dad, right?
Right.
Ron Paul was way ahead of his time. They asked him in a debate back in the 90s. They said, "Do you think heroin should be legal?" He said, "Yeah." And everybody's like, "Oh," he said, "Why would you think heroin should be legal?" He said, "Let me ask you a question. Is heroin being illegal the only thing stopping you from doing it?"
Mm.
And they were like, now when you look at it like that, if you have no inclination to do heroin, cocaine, meth, whatever fucking drug is illegal that'll get you sent to prison for 20 years, is a different conversation. But if the only thing stopping you from nobody in the world is not doing a hard drug because it's illegal. Like, I'd like to try methamphetamine, but it's illegal, so I'm not going to do it. No, that's not how it works. So when you
Right.
take that same logic and actually apply it to it, people don't do things because they're illegal or not illegal. It's all based on who you are as a person. I don't
Right.
You know why I don't kill people? It's not because murder is illegal. It's not. I don't I don't sit here and have a list of 40 people who I'll go kill you if I could,
Right.
but it's illegal, so I don't. That's not what I do it because it's not the right thing to do. Like I said, how people are all fundamentally flawed based on my mindset. When you get into looking like that, like, do you do something because it's illegal or because it's not? Only because it's illegal or it's not. That number becomes down to such a minute percent that to think when you go full libertarian, like I started looking into, people don't base their fucking life and their decisions on what's legal and what's not legal. They don't. And if you look at it, if you slow down and actually look at it, you see that's not the case, man. People don't do things because the government says you're not allowed to do them. They do them because they're not right or they are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
and to have these people, I just I didn't mean to get on this tangent, man. It
No,
just gets me fucking
Jay.
worked
No,
up.
keep going, brother. Keep going. I'm listening, man. I'm listening. I ain't got nothing to do tonight. Shit. I love it, man. I
The
love
fact
this.
my fucking ass is going numb. The fact that people think they need the government to save them is so fundamentally wrong in every fiber of my being. I can't comprehend it, and that's where my struggle has become. You know what I mean? Like if you there's a book, I can't remember the guy's name who wrote it. The average American citizen commits 3 felonies every single day, and they don't even know they do it. If you just go based off the laws that are on the books, every single American commits 3 felonies a day, and they don't even know they do it. Why is the government that big, man? Why? At, and if you want to get deeper into it, and this is kind of tinfoil hatish, and I understand that I can get in. It sounds like a nut job thought of way of thinking. Excuse me. Why would we ever concede power to a group of people that we have never met and we will never know on any level and think they know better than we do? For
Right.
what? Just if anybody out there, anybody who watches this podcast, I'm on TikTok, my little thing's on the whole thing. I'm on Facebook, Jarett White. Send me a DM, send me whatever, and explain to me why the fuck would you think the government knows better than you do for your own fucking family?
Right.
And sometimes, and this is something I learned too with me. I learned this a long time ago. My girlfriend's now learned this. Sometimes you got to say shit out loud to realize how ridiculous it sounds. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, who was that right there behind your left shoulder? Who is that?
Is it
Right there.
Carlos
The poster behind you on your left.
right here? Oh, Malcolm X.
Oh, Malcolm X. Now, funny you bring that up. And I wanted to talk to you about that poster last time. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize. And because growing up, everything you ever heard, maybe it's just the South, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's everywhere, I don't know. But they tell you Malcolm X was a radical, Malcolm X was a wild man, Malcolm X was a racist. No, he recognized 50 years ago what's going on right now, this second, today.
Right.
And I've never had more respect for a person that I thought was crazy than I do for that man right now. As of whatever today's date is, I've watched a bunch of talks where people, and granted, these are coming from conservative TikTok pages, so I know, he's probably got, I've read a lot of his shit that seemed kind of wild, but 90% of the shit Malcolm X was talking back in the day, he was spitting that fucking truth.
Yeah.
And when you see it, when you read it, when you listen to it, when you hear him, you think, oh, fuck, this dude, oh, fuck, how did he figure this
That
shit out 50 years ago
right.
now? Like,
That's why Elijah
and
Muhammad
people,
didn't want
people
a part
think
of him.
saying
Mm-hmm.
that man spit so much fucking fire. And if you look at it, the shit he said about Democrats, how they slow play African Americans and how they palm feed them and tell them what they want to hear to do everything they want them to do, when in all actuality they could give two fucks less about them. Because when he was talking about a Republican will tell you he doesn't like you, a Democrat will tell you to your face that he likes you and he's going to help you, but on the inside he doesn't give a fuck about you, but he
Right.
uses you as a
That's right.
pawn.
You're absolutely
Like, come on, man. And I mean, we can
right.
go all the way down the rabbit hole
Right.
when we get into the whole Uncle Ben, Aunt Jemima, all these things that are racist. But now when you go into a grocery store, what do you see? What do you see when you go to a grocery store? All you see is white faces. So it's racist to have black people on products. But now there's no black people represented on any product that you can go to buy, so you never see a black person. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like it's little
Right.
shit like that. And if you've never dealt with if you've never dealt with anybody, you can categorize the people you never deal with, you can categorize them any way you want to. And if you've never dealt with them, you're going to go with somebody you trust. You're going to go with a government leader who is elected to tell you, oh, this is bad or that's bad. And you're like, yeah, that is bad. I agree with you. That's bad. Is it? Do you know black people? Do you know Hispanic people? Do you? And this is where I'll tell you this from personal experience as a business. I'm not a business owner because John owns a business, but I'm his partner. But I had my own construction company last year. I'll tell you this right now for a fact, 100%. And I got in this conversation with somebody years ago. Um, I had a guy that was bitching to me one day about how all these fucking shitty construction guys are only hiring Mexicans, and so they could pay them less, and so they fucking get over and fuck the white. They don't want to pay the white boys and yah yah yah. But here's the God's honest truth, brother. From a white guy from Tennessee to you can't get a white motherfucker to do anything. Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody DM me, TikTok it, stitch it. Tell me I'm wrong. You cannot get a white motherfucker to get up out of the bed and come to work. I can't. The one guy that we can consistently get to come help us at work, he's 55 years old. So he has a different mindset than the young guys. You can't get a white motherfucker who's under 30 years of age to do anything. They're worthless. They're fucking junkies. And I can say that because I was. It, it's not on business owners or construction guys to hire Hispanics over whites or over blacks or over anybody. They're the only motherfuckers that are willing to get out of the bed and work. And they'll get out of work and they'll bust their ass and they'll thank you for giving the money you give them. Because why? Because they've dealt with the dark side of life and they've dealt with the shitty things in life. Whereas now the government incentivizes you to stay at home and get paid. Whereas those guys say our government hates us and steals every dollar we give to them. So I'm going to go somewhere where somebody will pay me for what I'm worth. This dude made a talk today earlier. He said, tell me you're a business owner without telling me you're a business owner. He sticks up a stack of papers. He said, I had 12 confirmed interviews for today. Not one of them showed up. Do you know how many days I've had like that? I've had at least 6 days where somebody was supposed to meet us at a job site, white guys, black guys, and none of them show up. And I'm paying $25 an hour to dig with the shovel.
Damn.
Now, I know cost of living is different where I live and where you live.
That's good.
In Tennessee, you're up here. That's managerial money.
Right.
Even in California, if I was to pay you $25 an hour to dig a couple of trenches with a shovel, you would think, oh, I'm doing good.
Right.
But and this is what I was saying earlier to you about how I don't know if you're familiar. You're probably not because you're not like in the trades business. Construction materials are up 400 and 500%. Right now, a sheet of OSB, which is the plywood you put on your roof, and then you put the tar paper on, and then you put the shingles on. That's an $11 piece of wood. Okay.
Damn.
Right now at 11, that was an $11 piece of wood. It's a 4x8 piece of plywood. Okay. Right now, that same piece of OSB costs you $46. $46. One deck board that is 6 inches wide by, I think, 16 foot long. It used to be $9. The last time I bought a deck board, and I haven't bought one in about 8 months, is $29. Okay.
Damn.
So PVC, the stuff we use for irrigation, PVC has went from 30 cents a foot to $1.20 a foot. Okay. And this is what's crazy. In Knoxville, we still have it because the only reason we have it is because we're at the crossroads of 40 and 75, the two of the bigger interstates on America. Right. So we still have it because it's like a central supply hub. It's gone up 400%. Now, the market is still trending that way. It's still going up. There's different nozzles we put on the spray heads for your yard. You can't buy them. They're 8-9 months back order right now, right, Sid? 8-9 months back order. You cannot buy them. You could pay $25 a piece for a $2 nozzle, but you cannot buy them. You can't find them to buy them. And it's still trending that way. This is right now. We're in the same state as like where we were in 2006, 2007, market crash in 2008. Right? The government's propping all this shit up. This is why I told you this shit won't sustain, and this economy is going to go bust because construction. It's like a process, but everything's based off the housing market, right? Like because people feel like homes are the only investment you have. Like my girl's got on me about buying a house, and I try to tell her buying a house is silly because the market. But when it goes pop, and it's going to go pop I think we have between 12 and 18 months before it goes bust. When it goes bust, with all this other socio-economic shit going on, social justice, like it's going to turn into a shit storm. But when the market collapses, that's when we're going to get into like Mad Max territory. I don't want it to. I don't want that. I want everything to just be cool like it was, like it's supposed to be. But it's not sustainable. This market is not sustainable. And this market dictates the entire economy, right? Everything starts with building homes. And it shows you like when the market goes bad, home building stops, renovations, all that stops. And I'm telling you, as somebody who's in it, this is how I know nothing that's going to come from it, and it's all going to go pop. And that's why I'd love to move to Australia or New Zealand, but they won't let me in because of my past. Like those countries have a handle on it and they get it. But right now, the government in America is printing money, and it's going to create an economy bubble that's going to pop, and it's going to turn literally into a situation of what's happening. And the people who thought everything was all gravy and all kosher because we keep printing money and turning out $2 trillion in stimulus packages, but only 9% of a $2 trillion package actually goes to the people. The rest goes to wherever that's a whole nother thing. But imagine that $2 trillion economic relief package, but only 9% of that $2 trillion goes to the actual people. But nobody's talking about where the money goes. Where's the rest of that money going? This is not like a couple $1,000,000. We're talking billions of dollars. We spent, I think we spent $75 million to Pakistan for gender equality studies. Why the fuck would you do that in the middle of a national pandemic, a global pandemic, if it was so serious? Why would you do that? Tell me, anybody tell me. Why would we send, I'll flip the script on you. How many countries, do you know how many countries the United States sends money to for various different relief, for various different things?
Damn near all of them.
Okay. So keep that same energy. Like we said, keep that same energy. We send money to almost any country that is not a first world country. Like we send money to Germany. We shouldn't. We send money to France. We shouldn't, but we do because they're, first world countries. But we send money to almost every country on the planet for various reasons. How many countries allocate money in their budget to send to the United States for anything?
Zero. Rephrase zero, right?
Zero. No one sends us money. Hurricane Katrina hit. No country on the planet sent us $1 to get that shit straight. Hurricane Katrina was a literal catastrophe for the entire Southeast. Not one country on the planet sent us $1. Okay. You go back to like the tsunami. Where was that fucking tsunami at that literally wiped out like the Philippines and shit like that years ago? No,
I know. Yeah,
there was a mudslide in Pakistan in 2005. Okay, and it killed like 3,000 people. It was a legit thing. And the only reason I know this is because I was part of a heavy equipment engineer battalion in the United States Army. When we deployed, we sent all of our equipment. We sent 100 pieces of equipment to the Middle East, right? And I don't say equipment like these are not fucking tiddlywinks. These are D7, D8 dozers that cost $200,000 to $300,000 a piece. We sent 100 pieces of equipment to the Middle East. When we got done, you know how many pieces of equipment we brought home with us for our unit? Zero. We sent the 100 pieces of equipment we sent from Knoxville, Tennessee to Iraq and Kuwait. Those 100 pieces of equipment that were still fully functional and would have ran for another 20 years, we sent them all to Pakistan in 2006. Instead of bringing them back to America, we sent them to Pakistan because they needed them for a mudslide. They didn't pay for that. That's the type of shit we do. So when we're sending millions, billions of dollars to other countries, we're saying, you guys are good. We're okay. You guys are good. You don't think we could use $80 million for the homeless people in Texas, $80 million for the homeless people in LA, Granted, they're just going to get sacked off and put in people's pockets, but just imagine $80 million in any community, anywhere in America, what kind of difference that would make. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. And it makes me sick because I don't want to think this is the type of shit going on. But every single thing they're doing, that's all they're showing me. All they're showing me is, so what we're doing, you're not going to say shit because we're not tweeting about it. We're not hurting your feelings with our tweets. Orange man bad. And like I said earlier, I don't defend Donald Trump in the way that he responded to people. I get why he responded that way because he's a businessman. A successful businessman will not take people talking shit to him. I learned that from being in business. I wish he would have shut the fuck up and just did what he did. Like the Criminal Relief Act that he signed that brought me home
Right.
8 months earlier that let out over 3,000 people the day that he signed it. Nobody gave him credit for that. There's no
Right.
president in the history of America that ever did anything like that. But he's tweeted some dumb shit to make him look like an asshole.
Right.
Come on, man.
He's a
But
realist,
no,
though. He's a realist.
and that's the thing. Like, I don't. If someone doesn't like, if someone didn't like him as a person, I don't fault him for that. I didn't like him as a person. But as far as the things he was doing on paper, if you look at the paper, we gave $500 million to HBCUs. How do you find fault in that?
Right.
$500 million is a lot of fucking money to
That is.
HBCUs. Like, Obama didn't do that, Bush didn't do that, Clinton didn't do that, but somehow he's a shitbag because he tweeted, "Fuck you guys, I hate you." You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. Like, he didn't have that. He kept that same business mentality, as in, like, you attack me, I'll crush you. You can't.
Right.
But it's like, come on, man. Just all I want for anything is I want people to be happy, healthy, and safe. I want our government to care about the life of our veterans and the things that they struggle with because it's a real fucking thing. If you kill one person, it's not natural to kill someone. It's a wholly unnatural in the year 2000 when it started. It's a wholly unnatural act to take the life of another person. If you're from America, you don't do that. You do not do that. So when you do that, it changes everything. Now take that and find a guy like Chris Kyle or other guys who killed dozens of people. Okay, how do you expect them to come home and not be off? Now Chris Kyle came home and he did fine. In case you guys don't know who Chris Kyle is, he was the guy they based the story American
Yep.
Sniper. Bradley Cooper played him. Ball shit. But now imagine killing someone and then imagine killing 30 other people, 40, 50, 60 people, and then tell them, okay, thanks for your service. Go home and work a regular job. And
Mm.
when the demons come at night, when the darkness comes and is knocking on your soul, just deal with it. Well, yes, fine. You're not special because you did that. That's your job. You signed up for it. So just deal with it, okay? Fuck you, man. Like,
Right.
that's all I want. I just want people to be happy, healthy, and safe. And I want them to be able to have the resources of talking to someone when things go bad.
Right.
That's all I want. I don't want the government telling me what to do, what I can and can't do as far as going to work, taking care of my family. It's not okay. I don't want them to tell me I can't have a gun because which back up now, you know, and I know your boy J Dub cannot have a gun, and I do not have a gun. If you're watching, I do not, no gun. Um, but as an average American citizen, you should be allowed to have as many guns as you want. And I know that's kind of a controversial topic, and I get that, like whatever. But the average response time of I don't know about it nationally, but where I live, the average response time of police is 5 to 6 minutes. If somebody's kicking your door in, it doesn't take five. It would take 5 to 6 seconds to get from my front door to my bedroom in my home because I have a small home.
Right.
5 to 6 seconds. Average response time is 5 to 6 minutes. Now imagine being a single mother with 2 children. Some asshole kicks your door in, but you're not allowed to have a gun. Come on, man. I saw a quote the other day, and it wasn't a quote; it was two bumper stickers, and it got me so charged up. It was a picture of George Washington, right? It's a picture of George Washington like he was on the dollar bill, but it was in color. And in the quote next to it said, "If it was a," he said, "if it was me and my homies would be catching bodies by now at this point." And then the other one was Benjamin Franklin next to him, and it said, "Tax this dick." Like that's the mentality. Like these, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if you put it into the prism of the founding fathers, they wouldn't be going for this shit. And granted, 2021 is not 1776, it's not 1773, it's not that. But a lot of the things that are going on right now, like if you look at Canada, Canada just signed. I just saw a press conference with Justin Trudeau. He got on there saying, "We've now made 1,500 military assault style weapons illegal in Canada. 1,500 different guns are now illegal in Canada as of that date." Okay. So you've taken law abiding citizens in Canada and turned them into criminals. They weren't criminals Thursday, but Friday they were criminals if they did not allow the government to buy their guns from them and give their guns to the government for money. The government is using taxpayer money to buy back its citizens' weapons.
Mm.
How does that work? Governments don't make money. Okay? The only money governments have are from the people. So
Right.
the government took the money from the people and said, instead of taking care of responsibilities and making people's lives better, we're now going to turn you into criminals if by this date you don't give us your weapons for the money. But all we're going to do is give the money back to you that you gave us originally.
Mm.
Like just say the shit out loud and listen to how ridiculous that sounds. Imagine being 45 years old with a wife and 3 kids. You've paid every tax. You've done everything the government's ever asked of you. And one day they said, "You're a fucking criminal because you have that weapon that we sold to you originally and you paid taxes on the first time when you bought it. Now you're a criminal because you don't want to give it back." That's the difference. Say that shit out loud and listen to how crazy that sounds.
Right.
A law abiding citizen is now a criminal because you decided he's a criminal through no fault of his own because you said we don't think that's okay anymore, even though you've had that gun for 20 years and you never killed anybody. Come on, man. Why? Why? Because
Bullshit
some
is
asshole
comfortable.
who's fucking 31 years old says, "I think you should do something different." Fuck you, man. Like, and that's what scares me the most because Canada just did it. America's talking about it. Like when people are like, "Oh, Civil War 2.0, white and black." It's not a white and black thing. It's not a white and brown thing. It's not a race thing. It's not. It's a class thing. It's
Right.
And just like I said earlier about the elites who eat the rich and all that, I don't fault people who I don't fault um Bill Gates and Steve Jobs for making an iPhone. I'm talking to you on an iPhone right now. How could I fault them as I'm talking to you on one of their products?
Right.
But when you get so far elevated, you think I can dictate to this irrigation guy in Tennessee what he knows best. It's not going to be a color thing. It's all going to be an ideology thing. But I know nobody wins in that. Nobody. You don't win. I don't win. A progressive doesn't win. A conservative doesn't win. A Republican doesn't win. Nobody wins. But the people, just like how New York, how AOC just lost her congressional district because the mass exodus of New York because of these ridiculous taxes. The uber rich and the wealthy people, they can go wherever they want and be as safe as they want to be.
Yeah.
It's gonna the whole consequences and onus is going to be passed on to the middle and lower class Americans, and these shitheads are going to pit us against each other over nothing. Like I I couldn't imagine back in the day when brothers were fighting brothers and things like that over the original Civil War. I don't Anybody who's ever swore oath to the Constitution, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, cop, any state trooper, any of those guys, firefighters, nobody wants to fight. No one in America wants to kill another American over some political idea that nobody gives a fuck about except some asshole in the capital of the country. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If something went bad, I would fight and die right next to you any day of the week because I know who you are as a person. But if they mobilize, if shitheads mobilize and try to come at you and I would have no choice but to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm
Right.
going to protect myself. I'm going to protect you because you're my brother. You and I are not the same skin color. That has nothing to do with. I could give two fucks what color you are. I don't care what color I am. You're a good person, and I love you. I
Love you,
wouldn't go
Jay.
for that shit. You're not going to hurt Sid. You're not going to hurt his old lady. You're not going to hurt his mama.
Right.
And I'm not going to allow you to hurt me, my mama, or my old lady over
Hell
some
yeah.
political ideology or belief system that if people would slow down and get off of the social media instant gratification and say, we're not doing it. Fuck you guys. Get out of here. What are they going to do? If 300 million Americans said, you know what, we're not going for this anymore. If you guys don't figure it out, you're gone. What would happen? They'd be
Shivering
gone.
in their
All this
boots.
strife would be all this strife would be gone.
Right.
And that's what's important. That's what matters. Just like Malcolm X said, people are going to manipulate you because of their ideas. Don't listen to them. There's some snakes. Just like Candace Owens says now, don't listen to these assholes. They're going to try to manipulate you, but they don't care about you. Just like everybody says. But these young, idealistic people, and even these old, what's worse is the people that are like 40s and 50s and still going for it. But even the young people who don't have the life experience to realize words have consequences. You remember that when I told you in the last podcast, I told you in my life, the number one thing is words have consequences.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say anything and have you can't say whatever you want and just have free reign. The shit you say matters. If people would slow down and just take that as a way of thinking, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now.
Right.
And it's crazy. I really went on like a long tirade right there, man.
No, Jay, I love Jay. You need to bro, you should start your own little deal, like set something up at home and just talk about stuff. For real, bro.
Oh, I'm telling you, as soon as the busy season gets over, I definitely will. Probably in 1st of June. We'll slow down the 1st of June and we'll get to it. But it's just been so busy, man. Like that's the thing. A lot of the stuff in life where people are the masses don't have the time to sit down and actually digest the stuff that's being fed to them,
Right. Right.
because they're worried about paying bills and feeding their family and taking care of their responsibilities. So and then you fall back and listen to mainstream media or any media, and you're like, well, I trust that guy. So if he says this is bad, this is bad. They don't have time to do that, so they can't recognize it when there's an ulterior motive at play, and then shit goes bad, and you're like, well, why is it bad? I thought this is how everybody felt, but it's not.
Right.
But the average middle class, average American does not have time to sit down and actually do their own research. And that's where I think the media has failed the American people
Right.
because they've manipulated it and made it into a situation where we can tell them whatever they want and they don't have time to actually fact check and verify anything. And if Facebook says the community guidelines violation, well, then they're right. Just like I told you, you don't know anything about prison reform or you don't know anything about prison until somebody in your family goes to prison. Well,
Right.
if they arrest them, then they must have done it.
Right.
Or if he got locked up, he must have did something wrong. Well, that's not always the case. But you don't have time to. People are out here just trying to live, man. That's the problem. People are trying to survive. Survival is not easy, man. Survival is hard. To do the right thing in life is hard.
Right.
So you don't
Paying
have
the
time to
way.
spend 2 hours on Google every night fact checking fucking news stories you saw on the 6 o'clock news with uh, whatever that asshole on ABC is. I can't remember his name. He's a young guy.
Jerry, you're so fucking funny, bro.
Can you believe we've been sitting here talking for fucking 3 hours? That's insane, isn't it,
No,
bro?
it doesn't feel like it. It does not feel like it. Isn't that something? Did you end up getting your pizza?
Yeah, it's been in there for like an hour and a half. I looked at it a second ago. I was like, oh, that pizza looks good.
What kind of pizza is it?
Fuck pizza. Pizza will be there. One thing we know about pizza, we go thin crust, pepperoni, mushroom, and ground beef, man. That's what we do at our house. Thin crust, pepperoni, mushroom, ground beef every time.
That sounds
If we get two,
fire,
we get
man.
another one with chicken, bacon, and mushrooms. It's fire. It's from Pizza Hut, so it's not too classy, but
Does the
it's not.
job. Pizza's pizza,
Oh,
man.
I love it. I fucking love pizza, man. I could
It,
hate somebody. I could hate somebody with the entirety of my soul, and if they invited me to come over to eat pizza with them, I'd be like, well, fuck. I guess I gotta give them a chance now.
right. Hey, how's the sneaker collection going?
It's good, man. We can go through it
Let's
real
check it
quick.
out.
There's not a whole lot. Okay, so I bought these. These are the black and gold patent leather ones. I bought these to wear with my Legacy Guardian T-shirt to deliver Kidwell's plaque for
Mm.
them. There's a story behind these. They were rumored to come out back in the 80s, but it was supposed to be like our friends and family. There's maybe 20 pairs that actually exist from the 80s, but they redid them. These actually didn't take off. They're like $250 resale. I think I got these for like 210-ish somewhere. I don't remember. Now these are these are one of my favorites. These are the
Those are
Jordan
fire.
1. Hold on, I can't. These are so you got the red, white, and black on this side, but then on this side you've got you got this
The
fucking reverse
black and red.
camera. The black and red on that side. This is the Jordan 1 homage to home. It's the Bulls colorways from the home jersey and the away jersey. He took two shoes, cut them in half, and sewed the opposites together to homage to home, paying homage to Chicago. Let's see. Hold on. I got a couple good ones I just got recently. So I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, the home of the Tennessee Vols, right? They're orange
Right.
and white. These are the I don't want So these are the Starfish 13s,
Ooh.
right? And I knew when these were coming out, they were going to be bricks. Bricks meaning there's not much resale value to them, but they're orange and white. I'm from Knoxville. I love them.
Do you know?
These shoes are 15 times more comfortable than any Jordan 1 ever made.
Hey Jay, do you know
Okay,
Tyler Bray?
then these are the ones we were talking about earlier.
Those are fire.
Oh, the quarterback. You talking about the quarterback from Tennessee?
Yeah, he's that was my brother's when I was in Kingsburg because he was at high school in Kingsburg. That's where I was brought up and raised. And my brother London, he
Okay.
yeah, they were buddies. They were back to back quarterbacks. They'd switch off and everything. Yeah, Tyler's a cool ass dude, but
I remember him.
anyways.
I didn't really know him, but I know who you're talking about. So
Right.
these are the Jordan 1 silver toes. They're like bright silver. You see how they're shiny?
Right.
The toes shiny. These are a woman's Jordans. They're hard as fuck. These are kind of bricks too. They don't have much resale value, but I got them. They had the shittiest laces in them, bro. I put them in there. I put like the real Jordan laces in them. They're dope. Okay. These are some of my favorites. So I don't know if I can even get it to show
Is
you.
that a mid?
These are. It is a. Oh, look at you! Look at you, Sid.
A
You know the
mid, man.
mid. So these are the Jordan 1 All Stars. They made them for the All Star game. You see, they kind of have a sheen to them, like a carbon fiber look to them, the
Carbon, yeah.
swoosh and the heel.
Yeah.
So they didn't make this shoe in a high. They only made it in a mid. It's a Jordan 1 mid All Star. I don't rock mids because the culture says mids are lame. So they don't make these in a high. I got these for my boy Lap Fam for $130. This is about the retail price on them, but they're hard as fuck, man. And the difference between mids and highs is about a half inch on the heel. Nobody knows unless you know. But you can't buy these shoes anywhere else. I mean, in any different size. So I got them because they're dope.
Right.
And these are the first ones I ever got. First ones I ever got. Court
Those
Purple
are
2.0.
fire.
Purple's my favorite color. My girl bought these. We probably had fucking $200 combined between us last year. She bought these for my birthday. And she was like, I've been saving up for weeks to get you these. I know you really want them. I stalked these online. I knew I couldn't afford them ever. And she made the sacrifice and got them for me. And This, my girl is. I don't deserve her. She's so fucking. She's the best. Let's see. Oh, these are the ones I showed you earlier. These are the Jordan 1 High 85s, the original colorway from 1985. They're like $720 on StockX. I'm selling them right now on Facebook in my
Damn.
group. We can get into it later. I'll text you offline, but they're hard as fuck. I want to keep them, but the work truck blew the transmission, so I'm like $2,000 in the hole starting the week Monday. So I got to sell them because we got rent due, we got power due. This shoe right here, the Jordan 1 University Blue. I mean, come on, man. It's a
Those
Jordan
are
1. It's
fire. Is
Carolina
that the North
colors.
Carolina? Yeah.
Literally the sickest Jordan I've ever seen. Bro, when I tell you these are the most uncomfortable shoes on planet fucking Earth, they, like, look, this shoe right here, this black and gold, oh, it's fantastic. I could wear them every day for a year. One of the most comfortable shoes I ever put on. $200, right? This shoe right here, $500.
Damn.
Fucking
Five
trash, bro.
hundred.
They're so fucking uncomfortable. I hate them. It makes me sick that they couldn't figure out how to make those shoes comfortable when they made these shoes comfortable.
Is
Makes me
that
sick,
wait
brother.
the black and gold? That's not even like a leather. What is that? Is that a leather?
It's patent leather. The whole shoe's patent
Okay.
leather.
Okay.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. We got
And you got
shoes. We
those
got
on the
shoes.
the Facebook raffle, huh? Right.
Yeah. So I'm in a Facebook group called Bro Sneaks. Say you got a pair of the University Blues, right? You got them on drop day. You got them for like $200. You get on there. You see the values at 500. You throw it up, 15 spots, $15 a spot. So you're gonna end up making $750 on a $500 shoe. But I could end up winning them for $15 if my number comes up in the lottery, right?
Oh, right.
I bought 80. I think I bought 85 or $90 worth of spots on that shoe. I got a $500 sneaker for $85. I don't play a lot. There's some guys on there that play. There's some guys on there that play a lot. I pick and choose. Like these, I think I got $70 in these. They're like a $240
Those are
shoe. But the way
fire.
they do the way he had the waffle set up, I think he had $6 spots, and I bought half of them or
Hmm.
a third of them, and my number come up on them. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs of ones, and then we got one pair of 13s. I you
Damn.
know I
So you're
don't pay. I do not pay resale for shoes. If I've won probably like 5 pairs drop day, I've sold 3 of them. If I can't get them for retail, or like if there's a shoe I really want and retail was on them was 220 and they're a $500 shoe, I'll spend $200 on raffle tickets. And I never lost when I did that. If it's a $600 shoe on the raffle and I spend 200 on them, I always win them. I just pick and
right.
choose.
Right.
I don't have the money to go. I mean, I guess I do have the money now, but I don't go crazy with them. There's only the Jordan 4 Starfish. It's like a black and orange shoe. It's kind of a brick. It's like $300. It's a woman's shoe. That's the only other shoe I want this year. They have a couple, like a new version of Shatter backboards, which are just orange and white Jordan ones. I want those. I'll get them. But once I got the universities, the blue and white ones, and then I got the Starfish, I'm done for the year. The mids are kind of a fluke, but
Yeah, dude, that's a badass collection. I've never really gotten into like the Jordans and stuff, but I'm gonna cop me a pair. And they also came out the what? I think they're coming out with some type of shoe that has I I believe it's a mid. It's like it's like a Velcro type, mid and high, or is it low and high?
are you talking about the ones that you can change?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
I know what you're talking about. So they're coming out with a shoe. Um, you can change the colors on them. You can change like a color on the shoe, and it's pretty dope. If you find a pair of mids you want, you just send them to me. I'll get them for you and send them straight to you, bro. Mids. I got a guy who gets mids for
Hell yeah.
retail. He always sells them to me for retail. I'll send them to you.
Uh, oh, gee, he cut out. He cut out. I think that's it for Jay. Oh man. All right, that's about it. All right, folks. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you for the viewers. Oh yeah, Jay's tapped out. I appreciate everyone coming on here, showing support. I got one interview. I actually got two interviews tomorrow. One at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then I got one in the morning. You guys tap in with that. But other than that, I'll see you guys later. Jarett, thank you for your time, brother. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Bless up. Everyone be safe. Thank you.